Good morning. Hi. I think the ads are done. I needed that steeplechase intro to hype me up. I'm doing something weird today. I'm presenting it as a video essay. I'm not a video essayist. I'm not going to do a video essay. I'm going to do a live PowerPoint presentation about Webkinz Next to you. This is something that I think might do better than my usual VODs, so VOD watchers, hello? This is for you. This is going to be a review of Webkinz Next, but it is not necessarily a review for children. It is a review for nostalgic adults or parents wondering what the hell Webkinz is. So I'm going to swear and cuss. That's my warning. If you don't know who I am, these aren't warnings. Thank you, Snake, for the hydrate and the stretch. Whew. I'm getting hyped. I'm getting pumped. I've never tried anything like this on stream. I think it'll go well. I've been homesick all week. I had a horrible weekend. I'm like running on like the worst, most rancid energy in the world, and I think I'm gonna lean into that because I have a lot of shit to talk about Webkinz Next. Mostly just and this is going to be the theme of the whole thing. Spoilers. It's still in beta. It still should be in beta. It needs more work. It needs more work, but it's being presented as a finalized product. That's going to be the gist of it. But let's get into more details. And let me maybe not play this Homestuck song. It's a little too much. I'm going to turn down the music so low that nobody can actually hear it except me, and then I can be bothered by it only. Okay. Or, you know what? I'm going to turn off the music. We don't need that. We don't need that because I'm going to elaborate on some points later that are going to need Webkinz sounds. Okay, let's get into it. Webkinz is not as good as you remember. So this presentation is going to be specifically geared towards talking about Webkinz Next, the new wave of their Webkinz. This is their new generation. They're trying new things with it. It's very different. Webkinz Classic, which is what it's been renamed, still exists. The game from your childhood still exists. You just can't buy... Okay, it gets complicated. They're just not the same plushies available for it. So you can't go out and buy a plushie and then go play it. You kind of can still. The plushies are just a lot more expensive, and they have both codes for both games. I'll talk about that a little later. But you don't need to put your Webkinz in the web bin. I kind of want to talk about this because Webkinz is one of many websites that's sort of at this splitting edge of they're hanging on by their nostalgia user base while trying to gain a new user base that is the same age as the website's actually for. So they kind of they're at this crossroads where they're like, okay, we can either cater to these adults that want to feel this nostalgia, or we can cater to new children that we want to continue playing the game so we can keep having people playing our game. And a lot of websites are facing this. A lot of websites that haven't shut down are facing this. A lot of websites have shut down over this. A lot of websites have also shut down over Flash ending. I feel like, and I'm going to be talking about Neopets a lot as well in this presentation. Neopets is going in the opposite direction that Webkinz is going. The two of them have the same problem. They have taken completely different paths on how to address it. And I think that's very fascinating, and I want to talk about all that. So, welcome Snake, welcome Violet. I'm very excited to have you here. And any VOD watchers that are interested in Webkinz. I also, at the very end of this video, I do have some citations, so if you want to learn more about what's going on with Webkinz Classic and the history behind it, and I have not elaborated on that in a way that you are satisfied with, you can check out those videos. So, yeah. Let's get into it. I just tried to scroll on my OBS tab instead of on the tab that my... Okay. Webkinz is not as good as you remember. Let's remember this. So, I wanted to start with two things. First of all, this is Webkinz description that is on the Webkinz website. I'm going to read this out for you. I know the font is wretched and the JPEG is gritty. So Webkinz World is a multi-award-winning visual world for boys and girls aged 6 and up. On Webkinz.com, players discover a whole world of fun, caring, and learning while they adopt and play with their pets, decorate rooms, play games, collect prizes, and chat with their friends. With over 1,000 pets to adopt, more than 15,000 items to collect, and over 100 games and activities, Webkinz World is a place kids of all ages will enjoy. Content is in English only. So that's their pitch. This is a virtual pet site. I have a beautiful timeline that I'm going to read through with you here. Webkinz is one of the first virtual pet sites after Neopets to have success. I can't say it's the only one because if there were other ones that tried and failed, I don't know about them. So I've made sort of a timeline of things that I think are relevant to Webkinz and the shift in how people play online and play games. So first of all, shout out to Tamagotchi for being like one of the first virtual pet technologies. That's from 1996. Neopets came about in 1999, and the interesting thing about Neopets is that I think, if I'm remembering correctly, it was a college project for coding that a group of people made for other college students who missed being away from home where they had their pets. You can't bring your pets to college. So this website was created sort of to fill this like cute little need it was done for as a school project. But then it started gaining traction very fast because on the internet at that time there weren't any places, there weren't very many places for kids to interact with things. There weren't any online spaces that were like fun and had other people on them. There weren't really any kids MMOs. This is early web. Like there's not enough spaces. There's not very many spaces. They discovered a niche they didn't know existed in doing this thing that was like a side project, and then it blew up. I couldn't find the exact date that Grundo Warehouse opened up. This is important to introduce because Neopets got popular enough that it could have merch, and when they started doing merch, eventually they started adding codes, so you could redeem the codes on the website to get a prize. And it wasn't like you redeem it and you get that pet. It was like you redeem it and you get a book or something, like a physical in-game object. So the earliest mention I could find of Grundo Warehouse was 2003. I put a question mark next to it because the source was not very good. But that was like one of the first instances of you buy an object, you redeem the thing online. That was outside of like buying a physical video game. It was you're buying a toy and then you redeem a code. That's important. And then the same year, two titans of the virtual pet industry came out at the same time, Nintendogs and Webkinz. And I think it's really, really important to put these next to each other because they are both extraordinarily popular. I feel like Nintendogs had a worldwide market and Webkinz does not. You can see right here content is in English only, so it's very limited, the reach that Webkinz had versus the reach Nintendo has, but these two things were popular side by side in the US at the same time. Nintendogs, you buy one physical copy of a game and then you have that game forever and you can reset it as many times as you want and you can have whatever dogs you want. It's Nintendogs. You take care of a fake dog. Webkinz is it's what Neopets was. It was built for the age group Neopets started trying to market to. It was actually built for children. It's a safe place online. It has like really well-imposed text chat rules. You can play online with your friends. You can interact. You can play like games against each other. It's like it's all kid-friendly all the way down. And one of my favorite things about Webkinz, and I complained about this a lot when we played that newish Carmen Sandiego game. Everything in Webkinz is overdubbed. So if you are 6 years old and playing it, and you can't read, it's dubbed. You don't have to read, you just have to be able to understand the basic level of English they are speaking to you. which makes it a lot more accessible to younger kids, which is what this website was marketed for, versus that Carmen Sandiego game, which was being marketed towards kids but required you to read to understand what you had to do. Which I think is it's a very little thing, but it's a really important thing in kids' video games. So, Neopets, because it's like all HTML and it was made for adults by adults, kind of, it's really inaccessible. It's really inaccessible for adults to play. It's even more inaccessible for children to play. So, like, Neopets was really cool, and it was marketed very well, and people were really interested in the idea of Neopets, but it wasn't a very practical game to play. It wasn't fun. It was too confusing. They just sort of drop you in and expect you to know how to do things. You have to sort of figure it out yourself. I never had the patience for that when I was a kid. Neopets... I had a Neopets account, I played a little Neopets, but, like, I didn't interact with most of their features because I didn't even know they existed. And if I did know they existed, I didn't know how to interact with them. I can talk more about that later, but from 2005 on, Club Penguin also comes out that year. Club Penguin is really interesting because it is a website made for kids, but it is a very different marketing style than Webkinz. So Webkinz... you buy a plushie pet, and then that gives you access to the video game. So it's like going to the store, buying a video game, going home and playing it on your console, except instead of buying a computer game and then putting the disc in your PC, you're buying a pet, and then you can play this in your browser on your computer. So it was accessible in some ways and not in other ways, and the accessibility to me was interesting because I didn't have a lot of internet growing up, so Webkinz requires internet versus, like, buying Freddy Fish on disc and then going and playing that game on your PC. You don't need internet to do that. Webkinz needed internet, so that was one barrier that prevented people from playing it, especially in 2005 when it wasn't, like, a household thing to have. The next barrier is literally getting money from your parents to play this thing. So... I don't know about other people's situations, but it was a lot easier for me to either get a cash allowance from doing chores and then going and buying a plushie for myself, or asking for a physical plushie as a gift for a birthday or a holiday was very, very easy for me to do, and then very easy for me to obtain that object based on those opportunities. If I asked one of my parents to put in their payment information on a video game website on the internet, they would never fucking do that. It was early internet, so it's like, if you put your credit card information online, someone's gonna steal it. That's what everybody thought. And it's still kind of true. Like, you have to be very careful on the internet, and so, like, they weren't willing to, like, pay for a subscription for me to play Wizard 101, and they weren't willing to, like, spend money so I could get premium Webkinz account. I never asked, because I knew they wouldn't say yes. Virtual money was not something that I had access to. So games like Club Penguin, where it's a free-to-play game, but all of the fun things are paywalled behind membership, I hated. I couldn't play those games because I couldn't ever do any of the cool stuff, and then I just got bored with it. And some games were good at tempering that kind of push and pull and making sure that the game was still playable even if you're playing for free, but in the end they're trying to make your money. So I had to rely on playing a lot of games that used ads for the revenue rather than trying to get me to make in-app purchases. Nowadays, it's most games rely on in-app purchases. That's where the money is, and that's the direction Webkinz is also headed. But as a child, Webkinz was the only thing that was accessible to me, that I could get access to everything. And when they introduced their premium membership and then did start paywalling stuff after that, that I couldn't, like, buy a physical object to redeem to unlock, that was when I, like, I stopped playing Webkinz as much. Just the inability to keep playing was what stopped me from playing most games. Animal Jam's the same way. They have a very similar thing to Club Penguin. Yes. I will continue with the timeline. Bearville came out in 2007. That was the Build-A-Bears version of their virtual pet site. And it was kind of fun. I every virtual pet site that existed that I could find, I had an account on. I tried all of them. I was an only child. I relied a lot on, like, games and stimuli to fill the like, need to be around people. So every single one that I could try, I was on. Bearville was fun, that's fine. Neopets Key Quest came out in 2008. I think this is interesting because that was their, like, I think that was their attempt to get on some of what Webkinz was getting. So they started making plushies that unlocked, like, tokens that you could use to play a game called Key Quest. Now, as soon as Key Quest came out, I started playing Neopets. Like, because I could get a plushie and then I could play this game, and that game was really fun. It was accessible. It was just like a little board game with it was like a Mario Party like, but it was a little simpler. So it was really fun to play. It was very easy to play. The rules were easy to understand. As a child, it was very fun. But you're also playing against other people, so it was variable and interesting. And I was the kind of kid that used to play Mario Party by myself at home, with all the CPUs turned to different levels. So, like, KeyQuest was awesome to me. I got to play with real people. I got to be doing things, I got to be having an interaction with a person online for fun. Moshi Monsters also came out around that time. That one was a free one, similar to Club Penguin, where you get to choose one monster and customize it. But again, like, a lot of the stuff, like getting pets and things, were paywalled, so, like, all the stuff that I wanted to really do was not accessible to me, so I did not play it very much. Beanie Land came out in 2008. Beanie Land was the Beanie Baby version of Webkinz. It didn't do very well. I think it closed pretty soon after. I have a very specific memory of they had a dance floor and they would play I Got a Feeling by Black Eyed Peas on it, and I would just sit in the dance floor room until it looped to I Got a Feeling, and then I'd just sit there and listen to it again and again. I had access to YouTube, so I didn't need to be doing all that. But anyways, of course, it's another thing where you buy a plushie and then you can play the game. So of course, I was able to get a plushie and play the game. Anything that I could save up and have cash for, I would do. And I think this is where the timeline takes a little bit of a turn, because I think it's very important to note the shift in Skylanders. That's really funny. Yes. We get it, Violet. You're old and wise and cool. So here's the big shift, is that it stopped being cool to be buying things to get codes and play online. Webkinz was starting to decline, and due to this decline, they had to implement a lot of changes in their website to try and... They kept trying to do new things to get money back up. Yes, I think we all did. That's what college is for, is ruining your liver forever. Speaking of, the last time I bought a Webkinz in stores was in college. We had a surplus store in the basement of, like, this little mall building that was within walking distance of the campus, and for some reason one day they just had, like, a bunch of Lilkins, and they were, like, $3 each, so we all just, like, went and bought one and made Webkinz accounts, and it was really fun. Yeah, so here's the interesting thing, is that Webkinz implemented these, no, I'm going to finish the timeline, and then I'm going to talk about this. The problem is, if I did this video essay style and wrote it all out, I'd be reading you verbatim, and it would be really boring. However, doing it this way, I have ADHD, so I'm just going to jump around and tell you things as I think of them. And that's also challenging. So, hope you're enjoying. Okay, the Skylanders craze was really interesting because it was, you had to buy, like, a really expensive video game to play Skylanders. And then, if you wanted to really play Skylanders, you had to buy these, like, $8, probably more, like, probably $10, no, maybe even $20, $16. I'm gonna say $16. I'm trying to remember the price of a Skylander, but I didn't buy as many Skylanders as I did Webkinz at that time, so you paid about $15, $16 for each individual Skylander that you could use in the game. And the game was really hard unless you had a bunch of Skylanders. Even if your Skylanders are fully leveled up, you're still probably going to lose some levels if you don't have enough backup Skylanders for when your Skylander dies. And the game comes with 3. It comes with 3 Skylanders, it comes with a portal of power that reads the information on the base of these figures, and then it comes with the video game. So the video game was really expensive to buy. But due to a lot of, several factors, I know that my dad was still working at Toys R Us in fucking Times Square when Skylanders came out, and the factory that, like, had the Skylanders, it was either manufacturing them or was like the warehouse that held them, was the only thing that could get into the city during the holidays because they had a really bad several snowstorms that year. So all they had in stock was Skylanders, and so everybody who came in shopping for Christmas presents, all they could buy is Skylanders. So Skylanders made a ton of fucking money. They made so much money off of the Times Square location that they ended up making their own kiosks so they could sell them for 100% of the profit. They ended up renting a space in Times Square to sell Skylanders inside the Toys R Us, which is so expensive to do, because they would make more money that way than just bringing the Skylanders to the Toys R Us. So that's one of many things that led to Skylanders' success, but it was also, like, very novel that you get to buy these little action figures and play with them, and it was very much like the next stage from Webkinz. It was also, like, slightly more geared towards boys versus Webkinz being, like, it's really cutesy, so I think, like, I don't know. There's definitely a gender discrepancy in the player base of these two games. And so that was like, okay, here's a different type of this. Here's this again, but presented in a completely different way that is making it very interesting. And right after that, like, Disney got right on it and we're like, okay, we need to roll out a Skylanders with Disney. And that's why Disney Infinity exists. It wouldn't exist without Skylanders. But Skylanders, I posit, would not exist without Webkinz. Did I skip Maze and Hamsters? I skipped Maze and Hamsters. I don't think I put Maze and Hamsters on there. I put Maze and World on there. Okay. So Amazing World came out in 2014. This is also very important. Really? They couldn't get the test kits to give the prototype? Yeah. So here's my Skylanders story. I was in middle school at the time. I had 2 friends. They were both boys. They got really into Skylanders. I didn't own the game, but I had enough allowance to buy myself one Skylander, so I bought myself Sonic Boom, the little griffin. And I love her so much, and I used to, like, bring her to school every day, and I didn't have the video game, but I had a Skylander, and then I think I got to go over to one of my friend's house once and play using her on their Skylanders, because it was a multiplayer game. And then I eventually did get the game and then start collecting Skylanders for real, but, like, yeah. Oh, yeah, it was new tech. And that's why that's why I was able to buy a Skylander and not get the game for myself. The game was too expensive. I had to wait for, like, a birthday. I had to wait for a birthday and beg. Like, that was the only way. And I have all my remaining Skylanders right above me. That's why I keep looking up. I have Sonic Boom right here. The ones that I kept that I originally have are Sonic Boom, of course. Both of my Cinders, because I have, like, version 1 and 2 of Cinder, and Cinder is awesome, and I love her. I have Whirlwind, I think is her name. She's like a griffin dragon. Her toy is really ugly, but she's really fun to play because she has really, really pretty wings. And then I kept my Drobot because Drobot's my most powerful one. And then since then, I have bought the Wave 3 Cinder, even though I didn't play the game that Wave was from. And then my local game store, so, like, a million of these things existed. A lot of people played Skylanders. You can buy Skylanders from, like, they have a laundry basket at my games store filled with $2 Skylanders. You just rifle through it and see if you find the one you want. So I have like a version 2 of Drobot. So I have 2 Drobots now. And I have a version 2 of Spyro that has little like robot wings that looks really sick. I think the Drobot I bought, his tail is broken, and the Spyro I bought has a couple paint chips, but they're really cute. So I still am nostalgic for these things. This is the hype that, like, if anything where I could buy a physical object and then go play a game is the best thing in the world to me. I will say I never played Disney Infinity. That was not appealing to me. I was like, that's just a Skylanders ripoff, and I never touched it. I felt that way about Amiibo as well, but I do have some Amiibos now. And Amiibos are useless, so don't worry about it. Amazing World comes out. So Amazing World is a spin-off game that Gans made, based on this thing they premiered in Webkinz called Maze and Hamsters. So you could buy these little hamsters. They were cheaper than a normal Webkinz pet. And it would unlock this like 3D world where you could build hamster mazes and you could earn coins by doing challenges every day. And they had these 3 beautiful challenge areas that I used to just run around in. And if we have time today, somebody has been putting together, like the original Maze and Hamsters for you to play in browser. So, if you ever played Webkinz and you have had Maze and Hamsters and you still have the computer you had Maze and Hamsters on, you might have some files still saved on there that could help this person's project out. So I'll give some links at the end if that happens to fit your description and you can help them out. I don't have access to the computers that I played Webkinz on as a kid, so I'm useless. But maybe you can help, viewer. Okay. Amazing World comes out in 2014. Maze and Hamsters, I think, did pretty well and did bring some traffic back to the site. But when they came out with Amazing World, which was going to be their spin-off, they shut down Maze and Hamsters. So you can no longer play Maze and Hamsters in 2014. It was replaced by Amazing World, and Amazing World did not do well. I remember very vividly, I tried to download Amazing World and play it, but it glitched out immediately. Like, I completely broke the game. Like, it wouldn't let me off the boat you enter the game on, and then I was stuck, and then I tried to restart it, but it saved with the glitch, and it was saving to, like, the whatever Windows store, I don't know. It broke for me, and I could not fix it to try again, so I never got to play Amazing World, and I'm still very upset about this. Again, it didn't do well. It probably wasn't very good, but I really missed Maze and Hamsters, so I wanted to give it a shot. Again, this is getting closer into, like, I was getting close to going into college. I was feeling a lot of nostalgia in my life changing that I wanted to revisit these things a lot. Key Quest ends in 2014 as well. So, like, they discontinued Key Quest. I think they made a bunch of promises about making it into an app or making it into its own spin-off game and separating it out. They have since said that they're not going to continue Key Quest. Neopets has pretty much completely given up on it, despite the fact that many, many people are begging for it. Hopefully they're working on it in the background. Neopets has actually been doing a very good job of, like, they know what their user base wants. They know that their user base are nostalgic adults. They're doing the best they can to fix everything. They're just going at it very slow because they have limited funding. Okay, Amiibo also starts in 2014, capping off this trend. I feel like Amiibo coming out was the beginning of the end, because Amiibos were, like, they were hyped up a lot. They were very inaccessible at first because they were scalped very heavily, and it became very clear very quickly that, like, they didn't bother to implement Amiibo into a lot of their video games. Nobody cares. Like, nobody needs or wants to be using Amiibos. If they do add Amiibos into the game, it's to unlock, like, something stupid. Like, you can use Amiibos in Mario Kart to sometimes get an outfit, but they don't have, like, bespoke outfits for every Amiibo, so, like, you use one of your Zelda amiibos, you unlock a Zelda outfit. You use another Zelda amiibo, you don't unlock anything because it would have just given you the same Zelda outfit. That's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. It's poor implementation. The only thing that I think has done amiibo well is Animal Crossing. The trading cards are genius. Being able to summon villagers to your island with these like RFID things, so cool. They're just collectibles. They're just collectibles that don't really do anything. Versus Skylanders where like they were crucial to playing the video game, versus Webkinz where it unlocks the whole game for you, versus Neopets where you get to play this cool board game. So it was just sort of like, this is the end of it. They were trying to get on this trend after it was already dying. It sucked. Okay, Maze and Hamster ended in 2015. Sorry about saying the wrong thing. But Amazing World ended in 2018, so it did not last very long. Webkinz Next was announced in 2020, or became accessible in 2020 when Adobe Flash shut down. So, the reason Webkinz Next exists is because Webkinz Classic is an in-browser game that ran on Flash, and they didn't know if they were going to be able to get it functional when Flash shut down in order for people to continue playing Webkinz. So they created Webkinz Next, and that's why we're here. I can finally go to the next slide. Whoa! So here's something very big and very sad that I'm going to deliver to you, Webkinz nostalgia enjoyer. Your Webkinz account is probably gone. I tried to look for the specific information. This is what I found. This is in the privacy policy that is on their website that you have to like click off on, but nobody ever reads. Okay. Accounts that have no paid pets or deluxe membership that remain inactive for 6 months will be deleted. Accounts with paid pets or that have had deluxe membership that remain inactive for 24 months will be deleted. In addition, you can request your own deletion. Great. So, in order to protect the privacy of you, they'll straight up delete your account. Without any notice, without asking, they delete it. It's part of their privacy policy. So there was this really big wave of like people stopping playing it when they got a little older and then coming back to it with thinking about nostalgia and wondering about how their pets were doing and then finding that their account was gone. And this policy has changed a couple of times because deluxe membership didn't exist originally. I think I could be misremembering. I think one of the videos I linked in the description at my citations at the very end talks about this. But before any of the deluxe membership stuff existed, they had a different thing in place that was like, okay, after this many years, your account gets deleted if it's inactive. There's a reason why I play Webkinz every year, because I don't want to lose this nostalgia outlet that I have. But the fact that that's imposed on me is terrifying and weighs on me very much. If you had a Webkinz account at any time, it's probably gone now. It doesn't matter how many pets you had, it doesn't matter how much money you put into it, it does not matter that you've essentially, when you buy a Webkinz pet, you buy a copy of the game, or so you would think. That's not the case. You don't have a copy of the game. You don't have this pet anymore. Your chance to play with this pet's gone. I don't think you can even retrieve your account if you have they tell you to hold on to your Webkinz codes in case you lose your password so you can prove that you had this pet that the code belongs to. But I don't think that can revive your account. It's straight up deleted. Versus Neopets, where they don't delete anything. They will ban people for life, but they will not delete anything. Once a pet name is used, it's used forever. That pet exists forever. Your account exists forever. No one can make that account again. Nobody can make your pets again. Those exist forever. So this is one of the things between the two that is rough. Like, okay, I know that my pets are never going to get deleted on Neopets, and I know that I have to remember to log in every couple of years on Webkinz or my account's going to be deleted. I have paid pets, so I get 24 months, which isn't too bad, but it's still not very much time if I just am not thinking about Webkinz for a while. So, there's that. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Your Webkinz are gone. I want to compare some prices. Now that I've hit you with the hard news, let's talk about Webkinz prices. So I'm doing this presentation now because Webkinz Next has started making plushies. I've already reviewed a couple of their first wave plushies on my stream in different videos, which are, I can provide the link to the playlist in the description of this video if you want to see my other Webkinz videos. I think when I originally played Webkinz Next, I played it blind on stream, so you can see my live reaction to interacting with the new game. Webkinz Next originally just had an online store with pets. And each Webkinz Next plushie pet comes with 2 codes, one for Webkinz Classic and one for Webkinz Next. They have just started, this started last year, they've just started having live retailers again. So they have now started selling their wave 2 of pets, and I'm going to talk about why those are different, and this is a shift. This is a really big shift in their game, is trying to do the plush thing again, because that was the original draw. They weren't making enough money off of it to continue doing it for a while. The fact that they're confident enough to start selling at retailers again is really important. That to me is telling me that they are doing well. But it also is telling me that they are listening to the people who are asking things of them. So let's talk about this. I ran these through an inflation calculator. I didn't link the inflation calculator, so like hopefully it was, I just clicked on the first link, so hopefully it's all correct. So, and these prices are from my memory when I was buying them in person at the fucking Hallmark store or whatever, at the candle store. All Webkinz always smelled like candles, because they were always in like a store that smells good. I don't know. The Webkinz have a smell. One Webkinz was about $12. I think the price fluctuated over time, but when it was popular, Webkinz were $12. You could get premium pets that were a little more expensive. You could get signature pets that were a little more expensive. You get exclusive pets. I know my grandpa went to a Cracker Barrel to buy me the exclusive Cracker Barrel pet, which was an opossum. So like there were unique pets that cost a little more. With inflation, that's about $20 today. A Littlekins, which are the slightly smaller, shrunk down, they were the same pets, they were just littler. They were $8, so they're a little cheaper, they're a little more accessible. With inflation, that's about $13 today. I tried to look for a price on the hamsters. I know that they were like about the same price as the Littlekins. I think maybe they were even cheaper, but I don't remember. So I'm sorry about that. I didn't really seek out the hamsters. I got one hamster. The plushies of the hamsters were super, super cute. The 3D models of the hamsters I found really ugly, so I didn't really want more hamsters, so I didn't seek out and buy them, which is why I don't remember the price. Now, their first wave of plushies were $40 without shipping. You had to buy them from the website. They came in a fancy box with tissue paper. Like, they're very different from the original pets, and I'm going to show you side-by-side comparisons of what they look like. They're very different. They were $40. That's twice as much as what a Webkinz would cost today with inflation. So not very accessible suddenly. They are very much like, okay, we're going to do this, but we're only going to be selling to collectors. So we're going to make a limited amount, we're going to price them up, and that's all you get. Now, the problem with this is, like, some of the ones they released did really well and sold out really fast, so I never got my hands on a cow, and I'm very upset about that. But some of them have not been doing well and then just sit in the store and never get sold. So, like, they're getting very mixed messages on whether people want plushies or not, but I think the verdict was that, like, they realize they're not making plushies that we want. And that if they're aiming to sell to collectors with money who are adults who have nostalgia for this game, they need to be making Webkinz that are more like the Webkinz we grew up with, instead of trying to push a new line. Because, again, the demographic they were selling to, but the style they were making them in didn't match. They were for two different groups of people. It was, like, not connecting. So their second wave, I think they've come to a good compromise. It's $25, so it's still more than a Webkinz used to be. I'll just leave that as it is. Maybe it's more because it comes with 2 codes, so you can now access 2 worlds with 1 Webkinz. But again, both of these games are now free to play. You can play them without buying a Webkinz pet, so you're not getting access to the game by buying this pet, so I don't know why it's more expensive. It doesn't seem like they're any higher quality than the original Webkinz were, so again, I don't know why they're so expensive. I had something to say and I lost it. I think what they're trying to do is they're no longer selling to collectors, so they don't sell online. They are the shape of old Webkinz, and they have the embroidered magic W on their foot. They come packaged the same way, but the way that they're compromising with getting the new audience in is now they're selling in stores again. They have specialized deals with certain stores. The one that I drove to get one, I drove like 2 hours there and back to get a Webkinz. They had their own like cardboard stand that was right by their checkout that had all of the Webkinz. Okay, and I also want to talk about, because this is very important, the microtransactions in Webkinz have become extremely important, because that's how they're making their money now, and that's why the original Webkinz shifted in that direction, and now Webkinz Next is full incorporating it, which sucks. Here's why. If you want to buy a pet but you can't get a plushie, a virtual pet costs $15. That's more than a Lilkinz plushie with inflation. It now costs more for me to buy a digital pet on the internet than it was for me to buy a physical plushie. That's absurd. And if you want to, we're gonna get into the new feature of Webkinz Next, the breeding. If you want to get a virtual baby from your virtual pets, it's $8 per baby. We can run the math with how much money I've spent on Webkinz since I started streaming it. It's gonna be a very embarrassing amount, because I have bought, 2 Webkinz First Wave plushies, $40 each. I have bought 1 Webkinz Second Wave. I have bought 2 virtual pets. I have bought several babies. And I spent money literally for this stream, so I'm at the end of the stream, I'm going to play Webkinz Next at you, and we're going to spark 2 babies. I got enough money to do 2 babies today. And then they have a gem system. It's $10 per 100 gems. So that's how I'm converting all these prices. The Webkinz Classic also has an in-game currency. It's not gems for some reason. It's like a different currency. I don't know why they didn't just carry over that currency, but their e-store currency is different, and I think all their classic transactions go through the e-store and then get sent to the thing, rather than you paying in-game with gems or paying in-game with that money. I don't know. This is my price comparison. I think it's very important to see. It's expensive to have a Webkinz. It's more expensive to have Webkinz, and remember, they're going to delete your account if you don't play it. So you're paying more money for a game that you can't keep. Just a reminder. Additionally, I didn't include this on any of the slides, but when you buy a plushie pet, it gives you baseline membership. They have 3 membership tiers. They have free players, which blocks a lot of the features from you. They have plushie players that give you a basic open, you can play a lot of the games that you can't with a free account. Originally, you could not play for free, so when you bought a plushie, you bought the game. Now you can play for free with a bunch of stuff blocked. You can buy a plushie, have those things unlocked, or you can buy a premium membership and have the 3rd layer of stuff unlocked, which are like the really fun games or whatever. I can't do most of the classes at the academy. They keep shutting down all the academy classes. And they go through phases of like what they want you to be able to access and what they don't. It changes over time. So things that were accessible to you one year are not going to be accessible to you the next year on the same membership plan. It's constantly changing, which sucks. Okay, I'm gonna show you some pictures of the plushie pets so we can visually compare. So these are what the classic ones looked like. This is a little bit for scale, how big these plushies were. This is how they presented a lot of them. I love their splash art. It looks like they just threw them up in the air and photographed them, but the original plushie pets were known for this like interesting texture they have. So it's like a silky base with these like little fur bits, and then they'd have these like softer regular textured parts, and they were really, really pleasant to touch. And some of them didn't have this fur. They had like this horse over here. The horses were regular horse plushies. Oh, you're gonna see this one right here, the domino cat. I'm gonna show you a picture of mine in a couple of slides. How many of these did I have? Hold on. I had this seal. The seal was my first Webkinz on my second account. I started a second account and let my first account get deleted. And the seal is my baby. I think I had one of the horses. I don't remember which one. I had the domino cat. I had this tree frog, but it was gifted to me before I knew what Webkinz was, and I threw away the code. I did have one of these frogs as well at some point. I had a Google's, but I think I only had a Littlekins Google's. Google's are very beloved because they are a product of GANs. So, like, Google's are a fictional platypus-like creature that the plush-making company GANs created not for Webkinz, but that they have just had. So they decided, because Webkinz was their game, that they could include Google's. So it's their only, like, original species they have included. That's not just, like, an animal, a regular animal or fantasy animal. If that's a skunk, I think I had the skunk. I think that's all the ones I had here. But yeah, these are what they originally looked like. Here's wave 1 of Webkinz Next plushies, the ones that cost $40. I can't say this enough, and I think I complain about this sometimes. When Beanie Babies stopped looking like Beanie Babies and started looking like this, it was the downfall of plushies everywhere, because I don't think they look good. I don't think they look particularly cute. They have a little bit of charm, but, like, they don't have the charm of things I grew up with. Maybe it's just, like, other kids growing up with this think that they're incredibly cute, and this is what I'm saying about, like, they built these plushies to match today's demographic of children and what they're used to, but they priced them for collectors, and children aren't collectors. So how did their wires get crossed like that? Now, this is a screenshot directly from their website. These are the only 3 plush pets of their first edition line that you can still buy. If you're interested in buying one, I don't have the white bunny. I think that the model looks bad in the game. It's not my thing. The monkey, the models also look kind of scary. The teacup Yorkie is the only one that I bought, other than we'll get to the lion. I'll show you the lion. And it's really soft, and it's a really good size, and its butt is weighted, so it sits really well, but it also feels really good to hold. Like, the plushie itself is really good quality, and maybe that's why it's so expensive. It's just not, it doesn't look like a Webkinz, and that's challenging, because then maybe you're bringing in new kids with this, but they're too expensive for kids to actually buy, so you're missing the mark on who you're trying to sell to, and I think that's why they didn't do so well at first. So that's my spiel about these. Here's what the second wave edition pets look like. This is their new one. So I'm going to talk about this for a second. So right here is the like Holstein cow. This is the one that I went out and purchased. It came out this month, February. This is their first wave. I really, really wanted the hippo, and I've missed it. They didn't have any in stock at the store, but they did have the new ones in stock, so I may or may not have, in a fugue state, bought one of the hippos on eBay. I don't remember if I actually did that or if I just looked at it, so we'll see if one arrives. I'm a little embarrassed that I did that, but my first ever Webkinz that I actually had the code for was one of their hippos, and so I thought it would be really nice to have the Webkinz Next hippo, so I could have both of them, and I got really emotional about not being able to find it, and so I just probably spent too much money getting it. Anyways, I'm embarrassed. You can be embarrassed too. Here's a really good, I really like this image, and they did this for all the new pets. They have a very active news blog, which is great. They don't delete anything off of it, so I could find a lot of information directly from their news blog for this presentation. This is what they look like in Webkinz Classic, this lovely 2D art style, and here's what they look like in Webkinz Next in the 3D art style. And I think both came out really cute. I think they're adorable. I think the 3D models have been really, really hit or miss for me. They've been having a hard time hitting the mark between these big wet eyeballs they give the models and the little pin eyes they give like classic Webkinz that you can see right here. And I think they're like trying to balance between those things, and it's been hard for them. Like this again, this is how they made the plushies look. Now I will say something that I find misleading about this marketing is that they are posing all of these pets like these pets. They have them all sitting, facing directly forward. They don't do this anymore that kind of shows you what shape the plushie is. They're just showing you they're all posed in a sitting position. So you think when you're going to get one that it's going to be one of these again. It's not. Let me show you my actual photo comparisons between the 3 types. Ta-da! Here's some of my guys. So I have here one Littlekins pet, one normal Webkinz pet. This is one of their first edition, special edition first edition pets, and here's the new cow. So you see the size discrepancy. The cow is about the same size as a normal original Webkinz. Notice that the original Webkinz, they're like their legs are filled with beans. So you kind of pick them up and shake them, and they're really floppy, and I find that really enjoyable. The new plushies are not floppy like that. And these ones especially are not. These ones are meant to sit there. They're not meant to be, like, tossed around. These ones are a little bit more mobile than these, but they're still, like... As you can see, it's not really in a sitting position. So yeah. Size discrepancy, maybe that accounts for the price. Maybe that accounts for the material. Maybe the quality's better. I don't know. These are about the same quality as the new ones, and the new ones are still more expensive with inflation, so... Here's a side-by-side picture of the 2 Webkinz Next types. So you can see here that these recline really easily into a sitting position, but they are not like fully meant to do that, so you can still manipulate the limbs, but they are built to sit, which is why they posed them like this, which is why I thought I was getting one of these when I went to buy one. So like they can sit, but they can also stand. The important thing is that the Webkinz codes are attached the same way. You'll notice that the tradition, I don't know if everybody did this or if this was just a me thing, I assume many kids did, you take the Webkinz code off, and then the little ribbon that it's tied on with, you put around their neck like a necklace, which you see I've done here, is the first thing I do when I get a Webkinz pet. And you can see the embroidered Webkinz W, it's the new logo. But it's still there. People were begging for this logo to be added back onto the pets. These pets all had these little embroidered cutie marks. You can see a little bit of the side of it here, but they didn't have the W, and nobody knew why. They just deleted it, because that was a staple of the original pets. Both of these have a W on their feet. This is my plushie review. You can also tell this plushie has like a weird fur texture. It's not my favorite. It's very soft though, and it has like a messy, like regular plushie hair, which is fine. I don't have a lot of qualms with it. It's just not a very exciting plushie. I did really want that hippo, so I was a little disappointed, but I also did really want a cow, so how disappointed can I be, you know? So yeah, this is my plushie review. These are more expensive than they used to be, even accounting for inflation, and that sucks. Okay. So when Webkinz Next was created, again, it was created in Unity to be the replacement when Flash went down and took Webkinz Classic with it. But instead of trying to convert the whole website over into Unity, they've converted some of the big things and then added new features, which I think is a great idea. This is a really, like, it's a forced restart, but it's a really good way to try something new, try to reach a different demographic, re-hype this website, and create something new. Webkinz, their goal is to become what they used to be, you know? And just because Flash ended doesn't mean that they're gonna use it as an opportunity. Neopets, when faced with Flash, didn't really do anything. They didn't use it as an opportunity to start, like, working on making things better. They are now, after it's been 6 years since Flash went down. Maybe it's just 5. I think it went down at the very end of 2020. They're only just now starting to do things. So, like, okay, I will say this. The most recent event is they made a new version of their solitaire game that runs really well on mobile. Great. Their solitaire game wasn't one of the, like, hundreds of games that you can't play right now because there's no Flash. Their solitaire game was an HTML game that still worked when Flash went down. It was one of the few games you could still play. So why are you focused on fixing solitaire? Why are you fixing this game that was still playable instead of fixing one of the several that aren't? What the hell? And I can't be too mad because I really like their solitaire game. The remake is, like, fun and easy to play. I've been having a really shitty week, so I've been playing it a lot over the past couple of weeks, just to give my brain something to do, because, like, it's February. Everything sucks right now. If I'm not doing something or focusing on something, I may just have a total meltdown. It's February. Yay! And that's part of why I made this presentation. But, like, why did you remake this game? Why don't you remake some of the, like, they have these lovely side-scroller ones about their, like, adventurer squirrel character named Hannah. You know, Hannah in the ice caves, and those are my favorites, and they're not remaking them. If you want to play those games, you have to download a third-party plug-in that a fan made to make the Flash games work again. Whatever. Webkinz Next is implementing new things to try to get you to come play it. A lot of the new things have microtransactions. Can you believe it? Okay, so I want to talk about sparking. They're doing this awesome cool thing where you can now breed your Webkinz pets and create new Webkinz pets. Whoa, that sounds really cool. That sounds like popular games Flight Rising or Lyoden that are very popular and revolve around that mechanic and making really cool creatures. Okay, so that must mean this is gonna work really well. Why isn't it? So, here's the problem with this, is games like Flight Rising and Lyoden, they're built around this mechanic. They're built around trying to get the traits in a dragon perfect, or your creature perfect, or your lion perfect, and you can breed with other players, and you can trade dragons, and it's why, and there's an ad break running, but I'm gonna keep talking anyways, because it's fine. They work because you're trying to get certain results. Webkinz doesn't work because if you don't get a result you want, you're stuck with a pet. You're stuck with a baby. Every time you spark a baby, you have to keep this baby. You can't unspark the baby after you've revealed it. So if you get one that's really shitty, you just have to keep that baby. You can't, like, pay money to try again to re-roll, which I imagine that they're going to implement a feature like that. You cannot spark with other people's pets. You cannot trade the pets you've sparked to other people. So you're doing this thing that was invented for games where you're trading and interacting and doing these things to get this perfect creature that you want. And they've taken away all the things that make you want to do any of that. So now I just have all these babies. And all of them are fucking ugly. They're ugly babies. This system sucks. All of the traits are just, like, textures and colors and things that get slapped onto the pets. And so they're, like, and they're all overlapping, and I have Wobble Dog before. Wobble Dog is delightful. Thank you, Wobble Dog. An example of something doing this thing well. And it's doing it solo, and you have generations, and that's the point of the game, and you don't have to pay a microtransaction every time you want a baby. Okay, so the reason this doesn't work in Webkinz is simply because, like, you get stuck with all these pets you don't want. you can't actually like do any of the fun things that breeding games have that involve interacting with other people, or like trading pets to get the traits you want so that you can breed more pets that have the traits you want, so that you can then sell those pets to make money to buy a new pet with new traits that you can then... There is none of that. None of that exists in there. So it's like it's like Flight Rising if they took all the fun out of it. They don't understand why this mechanic is popular in these games. They've just put it in their game. And it's really frustrating because it is something that's really fun to do because it's a gacha game. Everything has to be a gacha game nowadays to make money. So they've created a gacha game within their game, but the gacha game sucks. You don't get a chance to get anything fun. And the one thing that I think got the gacha game started is they had those limited edition pets, and they still have these limited edition pets, where every once in a while when you spark a baby, you get a completely different creature that neither of the parents gave any genetic material for, and then the game is like, hey, you got this special baby. Do you want to buy a plushie of the special baby? You're allowed to if you want to. And then they send you, if you pay the $40, they send you a pet that doesn't have codes to just represent the one you already have in the game. They give you a virtual pet. You don't have to buy the plushie, but it's so rare. Of course you're going to want to buy the plushie. Of course I'm going to buy this plushie that I rolled. Wretched. Okay, and here's the other thing that irks me, and it's not a huge thing, but it's enough of a thing that I'm like, this is stupid. So Webkinz doesn't want you to think that this is sex. This is a kid's game. God forbid we have sex in it. We want to have this mechanic that you want to spend money on so you can have babies in this game and you can crossbreed them. But they can't be sex. So we're going to call it sparking. And you can do it with any of your pets. And your pets don't have gender in Webkinz Next. When you get which you would think like, wow, that's really progressive. I can assign whatever gender I want to this baby based on what I want them to be. It's great. In the original Webkinz Classic, you have to choose the pet's gender when you make your birth certificate. So it's an interesting thing to not include. It's not a bad thing to not include until I realized why they didn't include it, which is so that you can spark pets without it being gay. I 100% think this is why they did it. So your pets don't have gender so that you can spark them without it being a gay couple sparking a baby. I 100% believe this is the case. Which is it's so fucked up. Because, again, they've gone to all these lengths saying that this isn't sex. But then they let you, they like, won't let you do this. Yeah, I'm just like, well, okay, it's gay to me. I just made these two boys have a lion for a baby. Like, okay. But, so, like, you can't have a gay baby, and they did that so that people wouldn't get mad, I guess. I don't know, because again, their kids' website with mass appeal, they can't like do anything that's viewed as too political, which sucks. I know that Neopets does a lot of like pride and accessibility stuff in their game, at least in their like customizables. So, like, their stance is usually pretty clear, although they had an incident recently that people were really upset about, that I'm not going to get into here, unless you're curious, and then I will get into it because I'm easily persuaded. Yeah, so, like, you can have incest babies. You can straight up, like, have one of these babies you've created, have another baby with one of their parents. You're allowed to make incest babies, but you're not allowed to have gay babies. So it's the logic of like, okay, this isn't sex, we promise, except we've done this thing that makes it explicitly seem like it is sex, but we didn't do enough to make, so it's a mix of messages, and it irks me. It's a stupid feature. I like it. I hate how it's implemented. I think having the ability to like implement a pet breeding game into Webkinz is a really cool idea. Not the way that it's been implemented. I really like games like Lyoden and Flight Rising, and I find a lot of them are hard for kids to get into because a lot of them are HTML sites. They're They're a little challenging. I think Flight Rising has been upgraded more, but I believe Lyoden is still mostly HTML. So it's a little hard to get into for newbies. It's just like, I think it would be cool to have this if it functioned. Ways for it to function: the ability to trade with other people, the ability to share the traits that you've gotten, and great, put a microtransaction on those trades. That's fine. It's already microtransactions. Make us pay more money to trade pets, and make it so that we can't trade our like base pets. But I'm stuck with 2 identical rhinos on my fucking account, and I don't know what to do with both of them. They are seriously, they have like 1 trait difference between them. I made a family tree. I made a family tree to illustrate that I've been trying really hard to avoid direct incest. I think have I done indirect incest yet? I've had like, so breakfast is the base of many, my this guy. Keep scrolling. This is breakfast. Scroll back down. Breakfast is the base of a lot of my pyramid just because these were the 2 first pets I have. They give you a freebie when you make the account. So you get a freebie that has 1 spark with it when you make the account. I chose a frog. And then I bought breakfast. Breakfast comes with 3 sparks. Every pet has 3 sparks. And if you keep breeding them, each baby gets 3 sparks too. So you have infinite sparks, but you have a limited amount of time with the base genetics to get another of that pet. So you can see here that even though I used all of this guy's sparks, I don't have any more teacup pups. I have a frog from this connection, I have a rhino from this connection, and I have a raccoon from this connection. I don't have another teacup pup. Those genetics are gone. I don't have access to it anymore. That's stupid. I paid money to buy this pet that has 3 sparks. You're telling me I have to buy a second plushie if I want to try and get more puppies? I've lost that opportunity. I'm not going to buy another $40 plushie to do that. You should be able to refill sparks. There are so many things that it's like, these are already microtransactions. Why aren't there more microtransactions to do other things that would be helpful? If I'm already paying the money, and you know I'm already paying the money, add some more things I can do to fix my circumstances. Allow me to re-roll pets. Allow me to buy more sparks for my pets. It's just a broken system. The system's broken all the way through. Of these pets here, I also added the Holstein cow to this. So I have the art ready to update this tree after this stream, and I will do so. I have bought these 3 and this one. But this one, again, the pet itself was free, the virtual one. Or the pet itself cost, however, $8. How much was it? Hold on. Virtual baby costs $8. I'm realizing that, so I paid $8 to make this virtual baby, and then I paid another $40 to buy the plushie. That's really fucked up. Oh god, I really should sit down and do all the calculations on how much money I've spent on this. And as a streamer, I feel like I'm allowed to spend money on these things. I don't really do microtransactions when I play games on my own. I haven't even bought the Animal Crossing DLC even though I want it. Like that kind of thing, it's just like doesn't occur to me. But yeah, as you can see here, I have 2 identical rhinos. This one, they have the same ear color, they have a different horn color, and maybe a different pattern somewhere on their body, but they're the same base color. Most of the other colors on them are identical. Also, I've been stuck in this loop of like, all of my pets have green or blue eyes, so all of their babies have green or blue eyes, and it's getting annoying. Again, I'm going to show you what Webkinz Next is like after I finish this PowerPoint. The PowerPoint's almost over, don't worry. And we're going to spark 2 babies. And you can see firsthand how it's like. So, this is a list in no particular order of things that I think are bad about Webkinz Next that could be fixed Some of them easily, some of them would take a while, and some of them are like things that clearly were implemented intentionally but were a bad choice and should be fixed because they were a bad choice. So let's and I will show you. This is more of a list to remind me of what I need to show you in game. First thing, arcade is impossible to navigate. The arcade UI is horrible. So every time you open the sheet of games in the arcade, they are in a different order. They reshuffle every time you open it. So if you just played a game, you stop playing the game, you want to go back to that game and you open it, it's going to be in a different place. So you have to search through 3 rows of games every single time to find the game you want if it's not in front of you when you open it. You never know where it's going to be, so you have to search all of the places. It's really bad. And then on top of that, there is no easy way to scroll through the 3 bars of games. When you there's arrows on either side. When you click on it, it moves over 1/2 game. It does not move over a full game. It moves over 1/2 game. If you click it faster, it stops going at all. If you have to click it at specific intervals to make it go, and then you can't even drag and scroll in any way. That's not, you can only use this clicker. If you try to drag and scroll, it only moves those half movements too. It doesn't change. Horrible. I've noticed the second one recently because I've been trying to age up my babies for this stream so we can use them as breeding fodder. Your house straight up won't load correctly, and you won't be able to do anything in your house. It opens the game in your house every time, and it doesn't do it correctly. So you have to leave your house and come back to do a bunch of your daily stuff. I don't know why it's happening. It's really annoying. There are a lot of graphical glitches, all the time. There are graphical glitches, movement glitches, bugs. The next thing I have is pet pathing is annoying. If you click somewhere, sometimes it'll go over there, and sometimes it'll just stand still like it can't get over there. And then you have to click somewhere else and then click over there for it to go. Sometimes it'll let you jump through a bunch of rooms in your house because you can click outside the rooms. But sometimes you have to specifically click on the doors. Hi, Boku! Welcome! I'm doing a PowerPoint presentation. So the pet pathing is really annoying. There are no first or third person controls. It's a fully 3D game. It's competing with Roblox, and you can still only point and click. They don't let you be in first person. They don't let you use the WASD controls to move around, and they could. They could be doing that. And they don't. I'm like, why did you switch to Unity? Why did you switch to 3D if you weren't going to implement a more fun way to move around the environment? That's way more fun. That's the thing. If you want to add new features to the new Webkinz, that's what I want. I want to be able to be physically in the space and feel like I can walk around it. That's really cool. Why haven't they done that? This one's a mild one, but one of my favorite things in the Webkinz Classic was that every time you used a bathtub or a sink, there was a little mini game where you gave your pet a bubble bath, and you could put a rubber ducky on it and squeak it, and you could brush their teeth, and it was really, really, really cute. Webkinz Next doesn't have that. They have bathtubs, they have sinks. They fill up with water if you put your pet in it. You don't get to play a cute mini game. Well, what's the point? I want to play the cute mini game. I want to be able to take care of my pet. Bad or no music in all areas. And actually, I'm going to I'm going to drive this point home in a really annoying way. I'm going to open Webkinz Next for the rest of my presentation because this is the last slide. And I'm going to let it sit on the menu screen for the rest of this so that you can listen to sort of a sample of the worst of their music. Give it a second. I've opened it. It's kicking in. Please. Come on. There we go. Oh, it's gonna turn... Okay, well, I can't... Well, how am I supposed to drive my point home now? Alright, well, let's sit and listen for a second. I'm gonna be honest, I think they've updated the music a little bit. This has always been the opening theme. It used to be worse. Now notice it's not been very long since I opened this. It's already looped. That's how small the audio loop is. Let's just sit through another loop. Just sit in it with me. And that's the loop. So when there is sound, it's usually a really short loop like that, and some of them are pleasant, and some of them are fine. But most of the time, they're just too short to be anything. And then in half of the other areas, it's dead silent. The game is completely quiet otherwise. Why? Why is it so quiet? Why is the sound so bad? Get one sound person who's like interested and passionate about making game music, and it'd be so much better. Why is there no sound? Why is it so bad? So that's one of my peeves. This one's a harder one that is not really something they have control over, but there is no community and role-playing of any sort on this website. You log on, there are people in the common spaces, there are other players there around you. Nobody's talking. Nobody's like on there with their friend chatting. Nobody's like running around role-playing as their pets. If you walk near people, they invite you to a trade, which is not a mechanic that I have messed with because I'm not interested mostly, but also like, why aren't people just interacting with each other? Is that like, you've created an environment somehow that is like the opposite of I don't know, it's just baffling. You're supposed to be this is supposed to be a kid's MMO. It's supposed to be a safe place where you can come and hang out with your friends after school online or whatever the fuck. And no, the only people here are, I assume, adults who want collector's items on their Webkinz account. Their Webkinz account that will be deleted if they forget to play for 2 years. Why? I've never cared about in-game collectibles in this game because it's about collecting the plushies, so it's really baffling to me that, like, you have this environment, you have these spaces, and there's nothing, that no one's doing anything with them. Which comes to my next point, which is, they added a new feature last year where you can go on a vacation, and instead of adding another building to the, like, very sparse town map, that they have plenty of room to add another building to, they deleted one of the existing buildings that was just like a cute roleplay location. It was like a salon, and they just put the new building there. Why are you removing you have no features in this game. You're removing a feature to add a new one instead of adding the new one and not deleting the old feature? Why? Why did you remove this location? Now the only place you can like go into and like hang out with other people that isn't a building for microtransactions is the cafe. The salon was one of the only places where it's like, well, people aren't even going to come in here to get their free coffee because you get a free coffee when you go in the cafe. The salon didn't give you anything. It was like one of the only private places where you could like go and hang out with your friend in the game. I just like their inability to create spaces people want to be in and play in is really challenging. This is a kid's game. What, why aren't there places to be? And if you go on vacation, it's just you and your pets that go on vacation. You don't go on vacation with your friends. That's an activity you do alone. So you've replaced it with a building that's an alone activity, instead of adding more activities that encourage people to play with each other. And there aren't games people can play with each other. Ah! And then inconsistent character modeling, this is a blanket statement. It's not just like the style of the pets that they're modeling. It's in the clothes. Like, they keep modeling these pets, and in theory, your pet can wear any of the outfits. But, like, you can't wear boots and a shirt without the boots clipping through the shirt sleeves. Some pets can't wear certain shoes or else their feet clip through them. Like, there's being no attempt at adjustments made to items to make them actually usable by all the pets. It's becoming a Neopets situation, because Neopets is really, really bad at that. Neopets does this thing where, like, if they have an item that's for all pets, you have to buy it with real money, but then it does look like shit on most pets. So before I ever buy anything on Neopets, I have to look up that item, look at what it looks like on all of the pets I have, and make sure it looks good before I purchase it. Because it might look like it's a really cool item, but it might only look good on one specific type of pet, and then it looks bad on all the others. Because a lot of the times they don't like redraw these items. They just stretch them. They just stretch them bad so they fit on the different head shapes. So, like, I can't buy this wig for my frog, it'll look bad on my frog. That kind of thing. Neopets is becoming that. Where it's like, okay, because you've decided to model all of these bespoke pet types and not account for the shapes that they are, now I can't buy clothes for some pets that look good. Or they can't wear this outfit that I think would match this character that I've given them because this dress clips through their butt. But this hoodie doesn't, so I guess this pet can only wear hoodies. It's very frustrating. This is a thing that's between both Webkinz, and they added this thing where you have these pet hearts. And the pet hearts are how satisfied the pet is with you, but they also have these three, I'll show you this in-game. They have, like, a health and a food and, like, a happiness meter. And then they also have a heart meter. And your goal is to fill up the heart, and that gives you family points, and if you get family points, that adds to your score, and you unlock new items. The pet hearts don't stay up. You get the pet heart up. It takes like maybe an hour of playing Webkinz with one pet attached to get their heart up. And then like you log out and log in the next day and it's all the way down again. So you can't even like, okay, I'm going to spend time with this pet and make sure this pet's happy today. And then tomorrow I'm going to spend time with this pet, make sure that pet's happy. The first pet's already sad again. I don't like how it's been implemented. I think it needs to stay full a little longer. It needs to have a little more longevity. It used to. I used to log into my Webkinz Classic accounts and all of my pets were happy. All like, however fuck ton amount I have, I had a lot of Webkinz pets on my Classic account. I have a lot of Webkinz pets on my Classic account because I log in every year and it hasn't been deleted yet. Yeah. Sorry, that's my brag. I still have, all my Webkinz pets are still alive. Even though I don't own a lot of the plushies anymore, I got rid of most of them. And this brings us to the biggest problem, is that there isn't very much to do in this video game. It's very repetitive, your dailies are not interesting to do. There's nothing to do. It becomes a chore. If you want to play Webkinz daily to get all the bonuses, it's going to feel like a chore. It's not going to be a fun thing you look forward to doing every day. And if the gameplay loop to do daily isn't fun, then I'm not going to play your video game. And I'm going to talk about their like Fortnite Battle Pass situation as well, because that's also not fun, but we'll get into it when I'm in the game. I'm going to show you my citations really quick, because I watched that one video essay by H-Bomber Guy, and I was worried that if I didn't cite my sources, even though I haven't watched these two Webkinz videos I have listed here. I watched like a year ago, and I vaguely remember them. I'm not like citing them verbatim. This is just this is the little bit of Webkinz history I know. And it was probably from watching these video games, because when you're playing Webkinz, you don't get the history. I also know a lot of what I know about Neopets history from the Secret Histories of Nerd Mysteries episode, episode 81. I will say, caveat to that in, sorry, you hydrated and stretched me, Snake. I hydrated, I didn't stretch. Let me stretch real quick. I gotta stay limber because we're gonna stream for a little longer because I gotta show you all these features. Okay. I will say the Secret Histories gets a lot of like minor facts wrong about recent Neopets. Even in their, I did listen to the Return to Neopets episode while I was making this PowerPoint, and they got a few things wrong in there as well. And it's all little things like one of the people who grew up on Webkinz or Neopets will say, "Oh, I think this was the case, and this is the thing I think has happened recently," and it'll be like slightly off, just because like the research was done into the history of Neopets and into getting all these dates and names and that kind of stuff. It is well researched episode, but a lot of like the little stuff that is from memory is like a little off. I will say in the Return to Neopets episode, the host that did not grow up playing Neopets, their homework is to go play Neopets. and so she does, and comes back with what I've always said is that like it's one of the most inaccessible games on the internet. It's incredibly hard to figure out what you're supposed to even do. But the pets are cute. So I also, while I was doing this, found at Retro Rabbit's video on YouTube about Maze and Hamsters, and found out about the Maze and Hamsters Rewritten project, which I have the link for here. Sucrosi on itch.io has been rebuilding it from old files, and so you can go and play Maze and Hamsters in browser. If we have time today, I will do that. But it is possible to do this thing. You can play Maze and Hamsters if you have nostalgia for that. It exists now. And I've been begging for somebody to do this for years, and somebody finally did it. So that's the biggest thing out of like poking around researching for this PowerPoint, is that I'm very happy to hear that somebody has put together Maze and Hamsters. I use a lot of fans' wiki sites for dates and numbers. I'm not citing them all. I'm sorry for the I know these aren't academic citations. I'm sorry about that. One of the biggest things that I got information from was the Webkinz news site, which exists now, and I do check every once in a while because the one thing I can say about Gans World and Webkinz is that they have really good community outreach. They're very active. They have like a Webkinz podcast where they talk about their updates. They host events all the time through their news forums. They do an annual pet design contest, which, excuse me, we've done on stream before. You've seen my pets that I've made. I have those art streams filed away in my Webkinz playlist folder if you're interested. They do a lot of community outreach and are also very active on social media. Whenever I post Webkinz art, it gets reblogged either by Sally Webkinz, who is one of the most active staff of Webkinz, or the Webkinz official site itself. So they're listening. They're listening. They're there. They're trying to get people excited about Webkinz. They're struggling because their website was made for 6 and up, and their fan base is now shitty adults. and Neopets is struggling with the same thing, but their website, they had it easier because it was made for college students originally, and it was a 13 and up site. So, like, all of their fan base is shitty adults, but you have to kind of be a shitty adult to play Neopets. And I'm really sorry. I probably have accidentally interchanged the word Webkinz and Neopets a couple of times. My brain is stupid. If I said something that seemed like it didn't make any sense, replace the word with Neopets or Webkinz and it probably will. Sorry about that. That's just how my brain is. Yeah, there are these couple of Webkinz videos that I watched a couple of years ago that stuck in my brain, so I don't think I quoted them verbatim in any way, but any of my background knowledge that wasn't specifically the prices I remember paying about Webkinz were probably from those videos. So check them out if you want an actual like history of Webkinz Classic instead of just me complaining about Webkinz Next. Let's get into the video game. Neopets. Let me hide my... That's the wrong thing. Let me open this. Hide. hide my display capture. Okay. Let's talk about this loading screen. Let's talk about everything as part of this game. So what you see here is the town square, and what you're looking at right now is pretty much all of it. There are a couple other buildings that are not visible from here, but there are honestly not very many. This ad in the corner is an old ad from like 2 years ago. I will say, like, the loading screens and stuff in this game are really lackluster. Something about that feels wrong. Yeah. Let's get in here. So look at this bespoke 3D world. Wow. Oh, wow. So their loading screens are just screenshots of random things. So great. This is just telling me plush are available in the store. Sometimes the loading screen is like some random bullshit. Oh, and we have a new season today. The last season was Wicked themed, not licensed. So here's my house. And I'm a little disappointed because it does actually look like everything loaded in properly. So I can't even show you that has been an issue. Let's see if it'll do the other stupid things. Okay. It's behaving for me today. Okay, no, here's the pathing problem. You made it! It bumped into everything along the way, but you made it. Okay, so this is my house. What's interesting is you can play this on mobile, and on mobile, things snap to grid, and on computer, things don't. So you can place objects sometimes, and then it fucks things up if you try to place things on mobile because it's not on the grid. So decorating's kind of weird. I'm gonna check the map to see if there's anything... Sorry, I'm frozen. I have to move my... There, that's better. Okay, the farmer's market's open today. I was thinking about doing this stream yesterday because the fashion show's open. So the fashion show is their most recent thing. I'm not going to be showing it off today because it's only 2 days a week that they host it. In the fashion show, you enter your pet, and then you wait in a line of 50 people while each pet walks down the catwalk, and you press buttons to hype them up. And then you get, like, a gift bag with crafting resources. They have crafting in this game. They had crafting in original Webkinz. It's pretty much the same. They focus on it a little differently, but that's fine. It's tedious, and the first time I tried to do it, it broke before it got to my pet. So if I wanted to redo it, I would have had to sit in line for another 40 people. And it's not a quick fashion show. You really have to sit there for a long time. But I will say about it, it's one of the few things that has given any community outlet. It's one of the first things where it's like, okay, you go, there's a cute little, like, live chat box where you can say things and send emojis and talk about other people's pets and talk to each other. And that's really cool because it's the only place I've ever seen anybody talk to each other in this game. People just don't. And I will show you one of my, here's one of my fun graphical glitches. Again, like, it's just everything in this game is janky. And we all know this from when I got the game originally. But for some reason, when this frog is wearing the overalls, the butt moves. Don't know why. It does not move like that if you put it on anybody else. I'm wondering maybe if, like... maybe all of the pets have, like, a tail wag programmed, and the frog also has a tail wag but doesn't have a tail. So, like... Some trigger is moving the clothes, but the clothes don't usually, I don't know. And you can also see here, like, these pants are clipping with these shoes. It's annoying. Everything is, like, a little bit off. This is breakfast. We all know breakfast. I redeemed breakfast on stream. I'm going to have you meet my cow now, who is showing off how you can use the bathtub, but you can't actually use the bathtub. Also wearing overalls where the butt is normal. I do like that you can layer the overalls with shirts. Yeah, the frog is doing Kegels or whatever. So you can enter the bathtub fills up, great. You'll notice that it's completely silent in here. You can only buy I think, only one item for free that plays music in your house, and it's this baby music box that plays... I'll show you. Let's see how long this loop is. That's how long the loop is! So if you want sound in your house, the only thing accessible to you is this. How does this make you feel? Because it fills me with rage. It's horrible. It's horrible, it's horrid. Let's go to the farmer's market because it's one of the... Again, farmer's market is one of the things... This is just a bad screenshot showing you that diamonds... Farmer's market's only available a couple days a week as well. It's more accessible than the fashion show, which is only 2 days, but it's still not very accessible. The things you can do here are enter one of your gourds into the gourd thing. It looks like I have 2 onions. I have 2 competition onions. I'm not going to enter this onion because it's smaller. Apparently, when you harvest the vegetables, they have a size, but you have to harvest them the day of the farmer's market for them to count. Otherwise, if you harvest them on a different day and then come to the farmer's market, you can't enter anything. You have to harvest them day of, and you have to have harvested whatever fruits, whichever ones are available that day. So great, thank you. You gave me 50 Kinz cash. Today, onions was it, and I harvested some onions today, so I got to enter an onion. I've never won one of these. That's fine. And then it has 3 random vegetables you can sell that day. You're only allowed to sell 50 crops. You can also get free... Nope. Okay. There's also a lot of pop-ups and things to click. The asparagus is selling for the most, but I only have 3 of them. So we'll sell my bell peppers. You also, I'll show you in a second, actually. Oh, you can hear my loud as fuck neighbor's car. So you can't click backwards and do all of them. It just removes it. So you have to manually click 50 times. Just a little thing that's annoying. That doesn't have to be that way. You also can't drag and drop and it autofills all of them. You have to click 50 times if you want to sell 50 crops. What else do they have? They have Bouncy Castle. So again, you'll notice nobody's in the Bouncy Castle because it doesn't have a game feature. It's just cute and fun. That's the animation they give things when they jump. They just sit down and move up and down. So it doesn't even feel that fun. You'll notice nobody's talking. Okay. And here's one of the other annoying things is that you have timed quests, and that's what fills up this heart. But you get the timed quest no matter what you're doing, so if you're in the middle of playing a game and you won't know you're getting a timed quest. You can also buy only 3 plants a day from here. You can buy them from the eShop as well, but they're cheaper from the farmer's market. They didn't have any asparagus. You can also buy 3 of these. So I'm just going to buy a couple at random just to have... Sometimes there's a quest to buy certain things, and you have to wait for those specific days. I'm going to go to my house, and I'm going to plant some tomatoes, I guess. To show how this is. Great question, Boku. I don't know. I don't know why anything in this video game. It all just seems like arbitrary decisions slapdash together. There doesn't seem like there's been any design thinking implemented in the gameplay or the UI. Do I have room for pumpkin? It seems like I don't have room for pumpkin. Wait, nope. Okay, well, I'm gonna put it over there. Which is annoying, because I have all this for that, but I don't have any space right now. You're welcome. And so it only goes up, it only went up 25. So I have to do 4 tasks. Feeding it helps. Sometimes taking care of the baby helps. You'll notice that you're allowed to keep babies as babies. You don't have to have them grow up. I have this duplicate rhino as a perma baby. Because sometimes you have quests to take care of a baby or do something with a baby, and if you don't have a baby on hand, you can't do them, and you don't get all the points. So I just have a permanent baby. I figured it was a use for having an identical pet. So this means nothing. It's upset right now, but that doesn't mean it. If it gets really upset, it loops back. So it's not like it goes down and stays down and then goes up. If it gets too low, it drops back up here and then it's happy again. So this is meaningless. This means nothing. I'm gonna shake the rattle for the baby. I'm gonna exhibit how the audio is kind of, oh god, I'm lagging. My internet connection's a little weird today on my phone, so pardon me if my VTuber lags. Listen to this. Another thing where it's just like, the sounds are annoying in this game. The sounds are just bad. Recently one of my pets was like, the baby had a quest that would like level it up, and the pet that I had equipped was like, the baby wants coochie coo, and I was like, you don't say that. What the fuck did you just say to me? That's not okay. Oh god, my VTuber's gonna freak out for a little bit. My apologies. That's just gonna happen for a little while. You can check on your pets here, and I can show you. So, okay, you need 15 out of 15 growth moments for it to become a teenager, and then you need another 15 growth moments for it to become an adult, and you can't spark a new pet until it's an adult. You can get 2 growth moments a day, one by doing something that the baby wants, and one by sending the baby to the daycare, and you can do that for the tweens as well. You can do it for, like, the kids. So that's... Oh god, what's 15 divided by 2 is like 7. You have to do 7 or 8 days of coming in and being and playing this game to level it up 1. You have to do it again. Is my baby Charo? A reference I don't understand? Oh god. Hold on. So all of my other pets are adults because I worked really hard to get Beepus and Groku to adult stage so that we could use them today. Groku we made on stream, if you all recall. Beepus I think I did on my own time, maybe? I don't remember. I can't remember if we did Beepus together. I do know that my duplicate baby, Eclipse, I did on the Eclipse day, because they were having like a specific party where they were doing that. Sometimes during different seasons, you can get special traits if you spark a pet during that season. So like if you spark a pet around Valentine's Day, they might get some heart patterns on their body. They have sparking parties that they announce in-game and then they talk about in their podcast. I logged on recently and it said sparking party just ended, so I don't know if you get better chances at better pets when you spark during a sparking party. I have no clue. But that's something they do. Again, they're doing community outreach stuff, but they're doing a lot of it through their forums. They're not doing a lot of it in the video game. Okay, so the baby wants something. You used to be able to do something for the baby, and then it would boost your current pet's heart pretty high. Listen to those mouth sounds. Wow. C-list celebrity for having a large rack and saying coochie coochie. Awesome. So you'll notice that like my heart didn't go up at all. You used to be able to like do a task for the baby and then your pet would be fulfilled and then your heart would go up faster. So they've made it harder to fill your pet's heart. And the heart isn't even a representation of how they're feeling, because that's what these bars are for. These are the bars that Webkinz has always had. This is just to fill up your family score and get these. I gotta get my gamer spread. Like last time I got Big City Streetcar. Next I'm getting this really ugly peacock topiary. And then I get a ritzy bathtub. So you're doing this to get these objects. And some of these things are kind of cool. And most of them, I don't need. Storybook reading nook though, I'll get there eventually. But again, I have to play this game a lot to get to this, and there's a limit. Like there's an upper limit, and like yes, I realized I haven't hit. It'll be very hard to hit this, but they drop every day, so you can do this infinitely. You know, so if I played every day, I'd hit it eventually. All right, so that's my example. So there are different Now, I've noticed this recently, so I can interact with some of these things. These are crafting tables. And you have a list of things you can do. Now, this is me using the scroll wheel. It doesn't. You can't use the scroll wheel in this game. Awesome. Some of these things that are things that I bought the thing for, or glasses. You redeemed glasses. Oh, that's the wrong one. There they go. Now you can see my big peepers. Hi. Hi, Mazictron. Some of these are things I had to purchase, these recipes, just to have the opportunity to build it. Some of these things require like a premium currency that you get from paying for the season, the battle pass, as I'm going to call it. I've noticed recently that I can only access these two tables. This over here is a crafting table, and this over here is a crafting table, but you'll notice that my mouse gets red when I hover over it. I used to be able to access this. Thank you for the hydrate, Violet. I'm trying to do my best to stay hydrated, but it's hard. Okay. I don't know why I don't have access to these things anymore. I have a paid membership because I just bought this pet, so in theory, I should have access to everything in this game, but I think either they discontinued these things, or they paywalled them, and when I click on it, it doesn't tell me, so I think they just straight up discontinued it. I don't know why. You could create a couple other items with it. I guess you can't make those anymore. Again, don't know why. Don't know if they, presumably they talked about it in one of their news bursts, but they didn't say anything in the site itself, so I don't know why. Great. Let's look at this now. This is the Fortnite Battle Pass. Each season's 35 days long. You collect points by doing stuff. You can skip things by paying diamonds if you don't want to do it. If you get free rewards and pass rewards, the pass is where you get the stuff. So this is like any other game nowadays. If you want the really cool stuff, you have to pay money. If you don't, you can still win stuff by doing things. I've gotten a wish token. Great. And then the season progress. So earning points, it'll give you a daily. So the dailies are different for each season. So it wants me to tickle a baby every day for 35 days, as well as do all of these things. And a lot of them are normal dailies that you already do, but some of them you have to go out of your way to tickle a baby. Just a little annoying. And then every week they have a new set of like harder things to do. So this one's like harvest a competition crop from the farmer's plot. Great. I did that today, just playing the game. I did that because it shoves things in my face incessantly. And then some of them are like play a certain game, sell a type of gem, craft something, go to the fashion show, and then you don't know what the other ones will be until those weeks unveil, and it'll be a different set of things. You can look at the prizes here. Some of them are just emojis that you get. Some of them are like, this translucent telephone looks really cool, TBH. Some of them are just like objects. Like, I don't know what a mystery capsule is. Gachas, whatever. You can get this awesome denim pageboy hat, which I do kind of want, but I'm not going to play Webkinz enough to get it. That's a food item. I'm not going to keep a food item. Maybe it's only for display. But you'll see, like, on the free one, sometimes you just don't get anything. Or you get some kids' cash, which is nothing. The goal would be to get, like, the totally rad avatar frame. And the emotes are things that you use to interact with people. But no one interacts with each other, so... And if you get far enough, you get 10 gems! So if you beat enough seasons and get this many, you can eventually have... If you beat 8 seasons, you can have a free baby! Anyways, it sucks. It sucks really bad. And, it's got cool stuff, and it sucks. What do you want? You want some shoes on you. See, it won't tell me until I open the right menu, and then it's like, oh, I've been waiting for this. Great. You're welcome. I'm going to take them immediately off of you. Great. You have hooves. You don't need to be wearing shoes. Remember this. I like that I'm in the corner of my stream, and Latte's in the corner of there, and this is, Latte's also doing a live stream. Okay, and the baby wants something again. And this is the problem with baby, is the baby just it constantly wants. We're going to tickle the baby first because we need to do that for today's quest. And now we're going to put the baby to sleep. You also have to work really hard to get the baby to sleep, and when the baby's asleep, it stops asking for things. I'm going to ignore the baby from now on, even if it asks for things. Even though it makes me feel bad. The problem with this game is that it asks a lot of you, and then makes you feel bad when you don't do it, which is, like, it's one of the reasons why people don't like playing Animal Crossing. The biggest turnoff people have with Animal Crossing is when you take too much time off and you come back and you're like, villagers pretend they don't know who you are. People don't like that. Why did you revolve most of the gameplay in this game around guilting you into taking care of your pets? It's not fun. I'm not going to take care of them if they're guilting me. Okay. We saw Farmer's Market. Everything here has pretty much been here since their launch in 2020. The only new thing right now is travel agency. I'm going to click on a random spot in the map so that we can just look at the buildings. And we can hear the awesome main area theme. Wow, music! So you'll notice, if you've seen my older videos, this used to be a hair salon. It's now a travel agency. Who do they have working at the travel agency? You may be asking? It's this teenager that works at the arcade. That has a different character model from the other character models. And I think he's one of the only ones that doesn't talk to you. Now I want to show you another area with a different type of character model, so we can compare what that little guy looks like to an actual character who talks to you. That person has a hippo, I'm jealous? Whoa, 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 Jesus Christ, you can't be doing that on the main street. We're gonna enter the curio shop. Now, who is if anybody remembers, who works at the curio shop that everybody knows and loves? Why, it's Artifact, the dog. He doesn't work in this one. So here's what the rest of the character models look like. They got these, like, lovely, very well detailed, anthropomorphic, like, kind of plushy looking guys. And they're really cool. But why does that one other character look so different? And why didn't you make a bespoke new character to run the travel agency? Because in an actual Webkinz Classic, there's like a turtle that works at the travel agency. Like there are other characters that they created to work at the travel agency. They just reused the little guy. Yeah, so you come into the curio shop. This gives you something. But it's like an unskippable cutscene, so it's really annoying to use. Why is it I need to turn up the volume. But again, notice that it is dubbed. There's visuals, there's writing, and there is a dub over it. That's great. I love to see this. I got a sailing compass. Cool. Hold on while I see if I can adjust the sound settings. I guess voices is... Let's just turn everything up. Oh god, that's gonna be really loud. It's okay. We'll get the full experience. This is the mine! It also has a very short loop. If you crack your rocks and get all 3 gems, it like boots you out of here and you have to come back. But there are other things to do in here. Sometimes there's a treasure chest up there, which it looks like there is today. And we can do a quest for Alyssa. This is a new edition. So let's talk to Alyssa. So Alyssa is a character from Webkinz Classic where you used to have to buy a Webkinz charm to unlock the fairy area in which you got different prizes. She's free and she gives you prizes. She doesn't talk to you. I could have sworn when I first met her she did. She does in Webkinz Classic. All the fairies talk to you. They have a really annoying, grating, like, filtered voice. She wants you to collect mushrooms. Now you have to walk around here and collect mushrooms. Now, you'll notice, like, this is what I mean about the point-and-click thing. This is in, like, third person. I should be able to use my arrow keys, but I can't. I have to click to move. and the pathing's weird. So if I click slightly wrong, it's not going to go where I want it to go. Also, they do this really cool thing where when they get up to their object that you've clicked on, they slow down. I want them to keep moving. And now this brings me to something else, which I think is something interesting they added to this. Oh, did you just hear that popping sound? That's the cow asking me for something, but because I have the mushroom UI up, I don't know what it just asked me for, which means I can't complete the task, which means I better hurry up collecting mushrooms, or else I'm going to lose that opportunity and he's gonna get sad. This is what I mean about the, like, it doesn't turn off. When you're doing something where you can't do something else, it doesn't shut off and let you do that thing. It keeps asking you to do that thing. And then you just fail. And you only get so many opportunities to not fail a day, and it sucks. So you notice this is taking fucking forever. It's because when they implemented the Kinsville Academy in this game, they added a real-life stat mechanic. As you play the Kinsville Academy, you earn school ribbons that you can use to buy stat cards, essentially, that will boost your pet's stats. And the pets aren't, like, battling or doing anything, so the stats are like, gets bargains when they buy stuff, finds rarer gems in the gem mine, or moves faster. So if you want your pet to move faster than this, you have to go to school every day in game. And I really, really don't like how they implemented school. Okay, the only thing I like about this minigame is that there's a return to Alyssa button when you're done. It's the only thing that does that in this game, where it's like, okay, you don't have to walk all the way back there. Go ahead. Someone just said something. Someone just said later all. No one else was talking to them, it seemed like. But somebody's talking, which is great. Hey. So you don't even get the prize right away. You have to come collect it later. Usually it's a mushroom-shaped lamp. I'm going to show you this minigame because I don't know if I've ever done it on stream before. Okay, what do you want? You're hungry. That's great. That's something I can do that's actionable. I'm gonna ignore the baby, but I will give you an apricot. The mouth sounds. Just when there is Foley, it's unpleasant. When there is music, it's unpleasant. This area, the music is fine, but the loop is really short. Again, the loop is short everywhere you go. The music is always, like, a little grating. Even if it's, like, a pleasant loop, it's still a loop. And then this stupid game doesn't always make sense, which is annoying. Great. Sometimes it's really easy, and sometimes it's, like, impossible to do. I got a compass. That's awesome. You get pirate outfit if you do it enough, and I think I have most of the pirate outfit. I'm now gonna crack some gems. I'm using Latte today because he is the newest pet that I have. And we're about to breed him. But I also want to showcase what it's like when you start playing, because Latte doesn't have any of the pet upgrades. And the school upgrades don't affect all your pets. You get to choose which pet they apply to. So you have to constantly, like, if you want to go faster because you're playing a competitive game where you have to use your pet, you have to switch to the pet that has the stat that's fast, which means you're constantly switching pets if you want to. You either have to stick with one pet and give them all the upgrades, or you have to constantly be switching. And that's annoying. Got some gems here. I've been trying not to sell my gems because I need them for crafting. But I also have a quest to sell one, so we'll find out if it's a rare or uncommon or something.
Hey, not bad.
We'll sell it.
Choice.
We'll sell it just in case.
I've got something that's I can offer you a little something got something to
Okay.
spend.
All right. Shh. The overlapping talking. That could be fixed. Okay, now let's look at this poor person. Let me look at this pet. So this is a second generation pet. Somebody had to buy this raccoon to get it. It's the same color as the base raccoon. The only change is it has this rainbow tail tip, which is one of my least favorite traits you can get because it is nothing. The cotton candy is a slightly different color, and the face mask is a slightly different pattern. And that's all this person got out of spending $8 to get this pet. That's disappointing. That's disappointing. I'm gonna do school, and then we're going to breed the pets. And then maybe we can go on vacation, I don't know. I find the vacation thing you do tedious, but I do have enough points to go on vacation to show you. There's also a photo booth thing. The photo booth is not particularly helpful or easily customizable, but it's a cute addition, so it's fine. If you like having pictures of your OCs and you consider your Webkinz your OCs, this is the arcade. This is not where I want to be. So notice... Oh, I did want to show you this, actually. Hold on. This is the arcade. Let's all pick a random game on this title screen to memorize the location of. I'll memorize this row, okay? It's Dragon Towers, Dragonstones, Dogbeard's Gold, and Cake It Up. If everybody wants to pick a game of their choice to remember where it is, go for it. Dragonstones, Dogbeard's Gold, Cake It Up, right in the middle. Okay, I'm clicking on it again. Dragonstones is there, Dogbeard's Gold is there, but Diner Dice is here now. Where's Cake It Up? I don't know. And several other things have also moved. Now, the only thing we have left of Maze and Hamsters is Maze and Run, which is not like any of the games that you can play in Maze and Hamsters, so it's like kind of a cop-out. And Thrill Mountain's the new game, which we're gonna play right now so I can show you what Thrill Mountain is about. Thrill Mountain's a brand new game that is essentially a copy of one of the mini games. It's so loud. It's so loud in my ears. This is almost a direct copy of this like mountain game you could play in Maze and Hamsters, and I do think it's really cute that you get to play as your Webkinz pet, just like you could do in Maze and Hamsters. So I can watch my little guy do this game, and it's fun. You just kind of fly around and try to get enough coins to pass the next check, and then you move to the next level. Am I gonna do it? Yes, I hit my checkpoint score. Great. And then it goes from Ice Cream World. Once you beat Ice Cream World, it goes to like Spaghetti World, and then it goes back to Ice Cream World. And each map is a little different. I don't know if they're... I'm gonna be honest, I don't think they're randomly done. I think each one is bespoke, different, so I think it'll start looping eventually, which is kind of disappointing. I'm gonna showcase another thing I don't like about the games. I guess, let me just like fail so we can finish the game. Big finish line! If I got enough points, it would take me to Spaghetti World. Great! Game over! So you can play the game as much as you want. No, that's a lie. I think you actually physically can't play it anymore after you play it 6 times. So Neopets has this thing where you can only submit your score 3 times a day, but you can play the game as many times as you want. So like, if I like playing Solitaire and I just want to play Solitaire, I can submit 3 of my scores, but I can still keep playing Solitaire if that's what I want to do. This game, it only lets you play it 6 total times, and then you're done with that game. You have to accumulate, coins to play more times than that, which is annoying, because the games is one of the only things this has. This has, all the dailies are really boring and repetitive. The games are the only fun part of Webkinz. And you can only play your favorite game 6 times a day without spending a currency. And that's stupid. Notice that they're all in different places again. None of the 3 games that I, like, the Dragonstones isn't even here, Dogbeard's Gold is over here, Cake It Up's over here. It changes every time. Now watch me try to click through the menu. Great. Now if I try to click faster, that's what it does. Now if I try to drag, oh, that used to not work. Okay, well they fixed part of it. I'm still mad though. I shouldn't have to have figured that out like that. Anyways, one of my complaints, I'm complaining about a little quieter now, but I still think these are annoying, and the fact that they're in different places every time sucks. So before you could do this, you had to like tediously click through to get to where you needed to go, and it wouldn't even go that fast. And the more games they add, the harder it is to find the game you want. I'm also going to show you, I guess Jumbo Berry Blast is the best example. Okay. So this is a Candy Crush. This is a Bejeweled. They made it so that it has levels. And you can choose, if you start in easy, it eventually, and you beat enough levels, you get into challenging. If you beat enough levels, it bumps you into difficult. You can start at any of these tiers, and then this is just the level you're on, and they only have so many levels, and you get stuck eventually, but it doesn't... Candy Crush or games like it give you a map of all the levels and let you work your way through them, and you can replay any of the levels you want, but you can keep working up and getting more and more done. This one starts you on the same levels every time, so if you beat a particularly challenging level and you're really relieved, next time you open this game after you run out of your 3 lives, it doesn't remember that you did that and you have to do it all over again. And it's the same levels every time, so like, I played this earlier this week, this is the same level I played. It's one of the click and drag ones, so it's more like that, what's that, Best Fiends, maybe it was called? Whatever. Anyways, it's stupid. I want to be able to work my way through these levels. I want to be able to, like, replay it if I have to, but I want to feel like I'm making progress. You put all the work in making it like that, let me play it like a normal one. That's just one of my problems with it. Atomicalicious is, I think, the same way. That one's the actual Bejeweled one. So this guy here doesn't speak to you. He's another character that doesn't say anything. He just gives you a quest, but he doesn't say it out loud. And again, his character model doesn't even move. He's like default boy. It's like they modeled him as like a proof of concept and then had him lying around and then just stuck him wherever. He doesn't even have a name. It does not give him a name. And he's who you, and he also works in the other store and his model looks totally different from the other ones. I don't like the inconsistencies. Let's go for a swim. And then we're gonna go to school and then we're gonna have babies. Me and you, chat, together. We're gonna bring 2 lives into this world. And it's a beautiful thing. So when it asks you to exercise, you can either go into the pool or go into this. Sometimes they'll ask for a specific thing. Sometimes they'll specifically ask for a swim, so you do have to own... The baby wants a lullaby. I don't care what the baby wants right now. This is about you and me and the babies we're gonna make. Okay? Lock in. School. School is what we're doing. Okay. So...
Welcome to the Kinsville Academy.
She talks to us! I like that it lets me click on her, but it doesn't actually do anything. Does she appear when I do anything? I like that she's here. So this is the menu. This is where your stuff goes that you buy, and then you can do this. I can show you. Breakfast has level 3 speed, so Breakfast can walk faster than everybody else. And gets speed boost in a couple of games. So if I have to play a game where I have to walk, or if I'm really getting tired of how slow I'm walking, I switch to Breakfast. Furry has the negotiating, so if I'm really running low on money, I can switch to Furry and I can get discounts in the shop. Great. Who else? And Twinkle has all the mining points, so if I want to get special gems, I use Twinkle. I don't usually switch between them even though they have these traits, because usually when I'm playing the game, I'm trying to fill whatever pet's heart that I have selected. So right now, your heart is filled. So generally when I fill a heart, I switch to a different pet. We're gonna switch to you because you walk faster. I wonder if there's an easy way to exemplify this. Okay. I'm gonna open up a timer. Do I have a timer on this? I don't have a timer. Let's just vibe it out. Watch how fast Breakfast can go. Okay, now let's watch how fast, where did you go? Let's watch how fast Latte can go. I'm gonna be so honest, that didn't feel that much different. So why are the pets slow in the first place? How many levels do I have to select before it feels noticeable? You know? Why are they so slow? Give me like WASD controls and a sprint and have some platforming in here, and then we can actually compete with Roblox. You hear what I'm saying, Webkinz? Webkinz, do you hear what I'm saying? You're missing your target demographic. You're not pandering to either of the demographics that you have. You're doing something in between and you're missing both. Webkinz Next should be for kids. I shouldn't be wanting to play this game. I don't want to play this game. Do kids want to play this game? I don't think so. When they could be playing Roblox for free. And actually interacting with their peers. Okay. Now this is a good track. So the classes at school are randomized every day, rather than in Webkinz Classic where you can pick your classes, but most of them are paywalled. So you don't know what you're gonna get, and some of them match the old ones, so this one is one of the old classes from Webkinz Classic. The gameplay works the same. Sorry, I have to yell over the volume. And you continue to the next one, you get your next class. Great. It gives you these little tutorials, that's fine. The thing I'm not looking forward to is hard they have Wordle. And their Wordle is, like, stupid. Yeah, so the school isn't paywalled, but you don't get to pick what class you do, and the class you do doesn't impact your pet stats. So in Webkinz Classic, you can train your pet's beauty and fashion stats by doing those classes and passing the different grades, and then you get bonus points when you enter the fashion shows or the cooking competitions or the things that are built into Webkinz Classic that you can do. These ones, the stats that I'm improving don't actually seem to help me with anything fun. And again, we just watched Breakfast run across the room and Latte run across the room, and they seemed like they were going the same speed to me. Maybe if I actually time them, there's probably a microscopic difference. Didn't look like there was any difference. So why am I doing this? Because this is a game about, they market this as an educational game. Where's the education? Because this isn't educating me. The pop quiz is all bullshit that I don't need to know as a human being, and we'll get to that when we get to it. But like, taking my pet to school and doing this, what am I learning? Am I learning how to be healthy? I'm not on a treadmill right now. I'm not exercising. I'm not weightlifting. I'm circling my mouse around at a specific speed to get my target so that I can be done with this mini game. I'm not learning anything. Don't lie about the education of your website. Okay. So this is straight up just Wordle, but Wordle is 5 letters, and when you're on hard mode on this, it's 6, which means it's really hard. There's a reason Wordle works and why it's a certain way. As soon as you start messing with the letter count in the words you're doing, it becomes a very different challenge level. But I do like that they give you a give up option. That I like, because I've gotten stuck on these a few times. See, I'm using G's. It's just the most impossible game. And I like doing Wordle because you get your brain working in the morning, and I'm sitting there alone on my phone, but like I have shit to do. Usually, partway through doing the class times, my pet has asked me for something that I can't see because I'm doing this. And then I get stuck doing it. I just don't care enough. The word was docile, so don't worry, everyone. It also won't let you do certain words, so like, I'm gonna be so honest, my Wordle strategy is I have 2 words that don't have any overlapping layers that I always start with those 2 words, and then I go from there, and those words are penis and umbra. This game won't let me do penis. I have my strategy, and I can't even use my Wordle strategy in your fake Wordle. And again, if it was on medium, it would have been the normal amount of letters, and I think if it's on easy, it's 4 letters. But here's the problem again with they're scaling it with how many letters are available, which is incorrect because there are a lot of 4-letter words. There are a lot of very similar 4-letter words where only 1 letter is different, so you can get all the letters. And then you spend the rest of your tries trying to get the last letter. Or because there are less letters to work with, you can only try out 4 letters every time. So you're not going to find the letters you need playing normally like you would when there are 5 letters involved. That's a whole letter you're missing out on trying. It's bad. It should not be one of the games. Okay. Where in your body would you find a lanula? Don't know. My ears? My fingernail? Where might you find the azure zingaz? And the gem mines? Now that's a Webkinz specific question. Sunflower seeds are edible. Great. Calypso is a type of music. If your school prohibits chewing gum, what does that mean? You're not allowed to chew gum. A group of lines is called a pride. Which composer was known as the father of symphony? Vivaldi? I don't know who Haydn is. If I have a penny and my brother has a nickel, how much money do we have together? 6 cents. 6 cents. When talking about computers, RAM stands for memory, argon memory? Right? What the? Is it random access memory? I didn't know that. What city would I find a hockey team called the Penguins? I don't know. Fuck. So you see the variability in the quiz questions. So am I learning anything from that? No. I've already forgotten what city the Penguins were in. Pittsburgh? I don't know. But it also didn't specify country. Also, Gans is a Canadian company, so what they've decided is educational is different from what is educational to me. I don't know anything about Canada. So it's just like, why are we doing all this? What is the point of that? Why are we pretending this is educational at all, when this is just a fun video game? I'm not going to be able to convince my teachers at school to play this. That's a dragon. You have to pay extra to buy a dragon, by the way. I don't care what the baby wants. We're making new ones. Oh, also, they have had this town hall since the game opened. You can't go into it. This is just a building you can't go in. It just always says feature coming soon. What feature? It's just going to be a building I can walk in. Here's my least favorite building. It's called the showroom. I will showcase the... Okay. This is the showroom. It's to show you the things that you can't buy without premium currency. She'll give you a cookie. And you can, I mean, if you look at her, she's cool. Looks like the baby needs some entertainment. I don't know if she even talks to you. How do I access anything? I guess I touch a kiosk. So this is a character that's been modeled like the other characters, but she doesn't even talk to you. And this is what's been in this building since I've started playing. It's always this like fairy theme. It doesn't change seasonally to my knowledge. Maybe it changes seasonally, but it's the same every year. I don't know. I feel like I usually play around this time every year because I rely on nostalgia to get through the hard winter months. So I play a lot of Webkinz around this time. So that building sucks. And now I'm gonna showcase. So you notice that there are just people standing here, and they have these little bubbles. If I walk over here, let's see what happens. Anyone got sugar car? At least they're asking. Okay, you know what? Nobody has tried to trade with me. Camera mode? I can switch my camera mode in here? Oh, so I can walk around like this. That's cool. That actually makes it a lot harder because you can't control what direction you're facing without clicking. See, look how cute! Look how cute! Ah, there we go. So people will just like talk to you. This is Wizard Silverflame. I do actually want to look at your pet. This is how cute the other puppies are. If only I had one. When this puppy came out, it was Valentine's season, and it gave you an icon of a pink one. I don't have any more puppies. I don't have any more Sparks for breakfast. I can never have a puppy. And that's stupid. Anyways. Oh, there's yarn on the... I clicked on something. I was trying to click on the yarn. There's yarn on the ground. Sometimes if you collect the yarn, you can get a random sweater. That's what the cozy quest on the side has been. And again, here's just a screenshot that has some information on it. This is important information that's hard to find, but I didn't have enough time to read it, so I guess that's that. If I may, if you may spawn me back here where I saw the yarn, I would actually I think the sweaters are cute. Here's what the, once you get enough, you can use 20 and it gives you a random sweater, and the sweaters are pretty cute. They're honestly not bad. But you have to like physically walk around and collect the yarn, and they have to appear here. I'm gonna toggle this so I can zoom out. But yeah, that's just how it is. We're gonna do babies now. Is everybody excited? We're gonna have two babies. twin babies, twin perfect babies. Ah! This is my treat. My treat for myself is I get to play the gacha at the end of doing all of this. So this is sort of my reward. Thank you for being here. Let's check this out. So this is cool. It'll show you all the babies other people have gotten recently. So this guy got a fops, and he's cute. I don't know why the feet look like that. Orange amber swish paws. I don't know what that is, or why it looks like that, but okay. You got fox chest, mahogany body color, which is I love this color. It's a very good color. Got sled dog patch, and you got husky blue eyes. The special features, okay, I guess these ones are randomized and not from either parent, so the pink and purple eyes and the giraffe spots are just random. I don't know, it looks like you got the husky ears, but oh, it does say it right there. That's cool. That's cool. So you can see all sorts of different ones, and you can tell which ones are people who have bought plushies and which ones are not. I think these are online only. Here's one that looks kind of ugly. I don't know. I really, really just don't like... I don't mind the glittering opal pattern. I don't like how it was implemented. I don't like how any of the patterns are implemented. I just think it looks kind of bad all the time. Let's look at some more though. Okay, so you have some like weird traits for no reason. I like your tail. That's a really cool tail pattern. Too bad I can't really see it. You got ultra rare, so they have rarities and generations. So depending on how rare the traits you got, that determines your rarity. And then the generation it is also contributes to how many rare traits they get. But it doesn't matter or mean anything because you can't trade your pets or crossbreed with other people. Here's a dragon. These are what the dragons look like. They're fine. These ones are virtual only. This one's pretty cute, I guess. Here's what the monkeys look like that nobody is buying. I don't think that they're not cute. And I think this one came out really nicely, honestly. The green rocket pet patch. These sleeves, these fancy sleeves. Like, that's all pretty cool. That's honestly not too bad. This capybara has cow horns. So this person bought 2 plushies. So Todd and Bruce are physical plushies somebody bought, and they made this baby. It's pretty cute. I'm excited to get some cow horns on a different animal. And then we got this guy again. So all these things are just overlaying with each other at various degrees of transparency, and it just doesn't look good. None of them ever look good. This wolf maybe looks a little good. I do really like their wolf model. I think they're cute. But again, like, it's like you can see the edge of the JPEG, the like noise on the edge. It just always looks bad. I do like the face patterns, real cute. It's got some good traits, but Tiger's one of the plushies you can buy right now. This guy came out fine, it looks like. I do like these heart ears. They can come out kind of cute, but they don't often come out cute. Oh, one of the things I don't like about the corgis is that the plushie pets, they have like white and brown fur like a corgi has, but the model for some reason they all look like this. They're all like one color. They don't have the white patches, they don't have anything. It's very irritating. So this person either bought 2 plushie pets and are breeding them, or they bred one of the plushie pets already, got a slightly different one, and now are breeding them together. Again, you're allowed to make incest babies. It doesn't look like anybody got a special pet today so far, but I've already rolled 2 of the fucking lions, so maybe we'll get another. You want to play a game I don't want to play, but I will feed you because you look hungry as well. Have a coffee? Have a sandwiches? Okay. And now we're gonna do this.
I'm so glad to see that you'd like to expand your family. Here, you can create a baby pet using the sparks of your own pets. You can raise your baby to full size with its own unique features. You never know how your new pet will look. To get started, please select 2 of your pets that have available sparks.
I think this model is fine. It matches the other ones. I like that it is consistent. I like that she talks to you and there's text on screen, so if you're a young kid playing this, then you don't have to read. It's great. She's a little expressionless for my tastes, but that's sometimes you just lose that when you get 3D models. Jesus, Algie is way too excited for this. Algie's like, somebody come fuck this! Okay. So you'll see here, all of the sparks I have available. I don't like that it has the heart next to the pet because it makes me feel like perhaps the heart contributes to the quality of the baby. But you see we have Boinko available. We used Boinko once before. We have Swampy available. Swampy has 3 sparks. Sparklefur has 2 left. Algie has 1. Groku has 3. Beepus has 3 because they just got aged up, and Latte is brand new and so is available. So I figure we pick one that I don't have a baby for, so I was thinking we do Latte and Boinko, but then you guys can choose a pet for the second one? Is that of interest to people? I feel like the higher generation a pet is, the weirder the traits come out. So like Beepus is probably is like a 4th gen. No, it's a 3 gen. It says it in the gems right here. So Beepus probably has the most traits to contribute and will make the weirdest pet. Groku is 2, Algie is 2, they will make interesting ones. Boinko is also 2. Swampy is also 2. We have a lot of options. Latte is a must because Latte's the only one who will make us not have incest babies. Because I was like, oh, it'd be cool if we do Beepus and Groku, but Groku is Breakfast's son, and Beepus is Breakfast's great-grandson. So that's... See, this is the problem we end up with, is I have all these sparks, but I have to keep buying new genetic material if I don't want to do incest. And I don't want to do incest. My family tree already looks fucked up enough, with the, like, pseudo-incest. I don't need more of it. So let's start with Latte and Boinko, and then we will go from there.
Perfect. We're all set.
I'm scared. The result will be good regardless because I don't have a lion or a cow yet, so we'll be getting one of those 2 babies regardless, and that makes me happy. The problem is I was doing that with Breakfast and then we never got a dog. So I'm worried that the same thing is going to happen in one of these 2 pets. I will just never get a baby cow, or I will never get a baby lion. Annoying.
Okay, here we go.
But let's find out. That's a pig. Oh no, it's eyes. It's eyes? Oh no.
Your new baby has arrived. Wow! It's a very special pet that includes a redemption code.
Literally fuck my life. I didn't want the pig. I never wanted the pig. Okay, so here's the thing with the special edition pets. They have a limited amount of these plushies. You can buy the toy once you unlock it only. So I can only get this pig now that I've done this. I didn't know they had pigs left. I thought that they still only had lions and golden retrievers left. And I was like, well, if I get a golden retriever, I'll buy it because I like that plushie. I don't want the pig. I didn't ever want the pig. I wanted the cow, and the cow ran out like 2 years ago because people actually wanted and bought that one. Ah! Okay. The problem is you can't re-roll, so I'm just stuck with this pig. Which is fine, I guess. It means I have new genetic material, but also I'm trying to not play this game anymore because it is boring and expensive to do the things that are fun. So now we have a pig, and I guess I can decide whether I'm going to buy the pet or not. I think maybe I'm not going to buy the pet. No, I don't need this plushie. Oh my god, it has stripes! I might need this plushie. I'm scared. I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need this.
Now please let us know your new baby's name.
Okay. Well, your child is Beepus and your name is Boinko, so let's do Oinko. This is Oinko, everybody.
It's time to take your new baby home. When you arrive, you'll be able to select a room for your pet's new crib that it will grow up in.
You're both a disappointment. This lion only has one spark left to make a baby lion. And we're gonna stay here. We're not even gonna put the baby away because we're gonna do it again!
Glad to see that you'd like to expand your family.
Okay, chat.
Create a baby pet using the sparks of your own pets. You can raise your baby to full size with its own unique features. You never know how your new
Ma'am,
pet
you
will
just
look.
told me all this.
To
Can you
get
please be
started,
quiet?
please
Chat?
select 2 of your pets that have available sparks.
Who would you like for me to spark? It doesn't necessarily have to be Latte, if you don't want it to be. We have all these beautiful pets. Whoever you think would be the most fun, just shout out the name, and that is who I will choose. Please God, I hope there's still people here. Unless you all secretly snuck out when I wasn't paying attention. We have, the options are Boinko the lion, Swampy the rhino, Sparklefur the raccoon, Algae the frog, Groku the raccoon, Latte the cow, and Beepus the tiger. Please choose. Please. Please. I've been abandoned. I've been abandoned. I don't actually have a way to see if there's anybody viewing. If nobody votes, I'm gonna do Latte and Boinko again. I'm saying that right now. Even though I worked really hard to age up Beepus and Groku, maybe I'll spend money to make an incest baby with Beepus and Groku even. Okay, nobody's watching anymore. I'm going to do Latte and Boinko again.
Now pick one more. Perfect. We're all set.
Alright. No one even here to enjoy the best part of this game, which is the fucking bad gacha. Come on, guys. This was the treat. This is the treat at the end of this stream. It's okay. This stream's gotten really long, though. I'm going to commit several crimes. I'm going to commit several crimes. This is another one of the rare babies.
Your new baby has arrived. Wow.
I'm gonna be so honest, I didn't even know this existed. What does it look like? Is it cute? Oh god, it's really cute. Fuck! Okay, I'll buy this one. Nobody look at me. Turn your eyes away. Oh. Enter my birth year. I'm stupid. I have to type in, this is horrible. I have to type in my full payment information. I don't have my wallet up here. I don't think this offer expires through here. Okay, I can try again later. Great.
Now, please let us
I'll buy it
know
after
your new
stream.
baby's name.
I'm so pissed. I'm so pissed. I spent all that money so we could do babies on stream so I could show you how ugly they were, and all I'm getting is special edition pets. That makes me so mad. Well, your name is Razmataz, obviously. After one of my favorite kids' books. Which was a goat, but it was a goat with big, beautiful purple eyes, and you remind me of her. Or him. What? I'm not allowed to say Raz?
It's time to take your new baby home. When you arrive, you'll be able to select a room for your pet's new crib that it will grow up in until it
Shaking
becomes
my head
a
so
kid.
Webkinz knows I'm
Thank you for growing your
disappointed.
family.
Okay, and again, this illustrates the point of my real human person, or why did I say that? Each of my individual pets only has so many sparks. So every time I spark a pet and it's not the species of the plushie that I bought with my money, then that's a wasted spark, and not letting me re-roll or buy more sparks is insane. Is insane of the game to do. Like, if I could buy more sparks from you, I would. I want those puppies. Okay, well, it looks like I have enough diamonds to do another one, even though I just spent... I bought enough to do 2.
Like to expand your family.
So we're gonna do another one.
That's a lovely pet. Now pick one more.
So I don't get a lion anymore. That was my last lion. What I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to do Beepus, because Beepus is the highest, and nobody's here to tell me I can't. You lost your opportunity. And we're just going to hope we get a cow this time? God, it's so infuriating. I mean, it does elucidate my point as, like, this is the shittiest gacha in the world and the most unfunctional, like, pet breeding sim ever. But it still sucks. This is my real human money I spent on this video game and on this plushie. Okay, we got another tiger. It's the same color as the base one! You don't even get to be a special color! You're just the normal 20-year tiger with horns.
Your new baby has arrived. It's so...
What is wrong with your mouth? Can you open your mouth again?
Your pet is rare. Well done.
Yeah, great. You don't actually have, like, any new interesting traits. You look fine because you don't have any new interesting traits. Your tail tip's rainbow. That's their favorite one to do. Great. You have slightly different tiger stripes. You have the same, like, really blocky ones that Beepus had. And you have cow horns.
Now please let us know your new baby's name.
I'm gonna name you Dis,
It's time to
which
take
is
your
short
new
for
baby
disappointment
home.
because
When you arrive, you'll
that
be
was
able
all
to
3
select
of
a
my
room
cow
for your pet's
sparks,
new crib,
and I
but it
didn't
will
get a
grow up
cow,
until it becomes
and I don't
a
have the
kid.
option to
Thank you for
reroll.
growing your family.
I didn't get a cow, I didn't get a lion, I don't have the option to reroll, I don't have the option to buy more sparks. That's it. That's all. I can't even do more cow. That's it, that's the end of cow. No more cow. It's just the most broken. It's the only fun thing. It's locked behind a paywall and it's non-functional. That's why it's upsetting. I'm like, why am I paying so much money to do this in a game that's not fun? I don't have enough room in this room for all my babies. You can go in this one, I guess. We'll get you a matching. That's not where I wanted that to be. Nope, don't talk to the baby. You go right there. That way you're not in the way. What about my other babies that I have to place? Are they in my inventory or... Hold on.
Welcome back to the Pet Center.
Oh, place me. There we go. You can be blue. Oh, fuck, I already had a blue one. Damn it. No, don't kill me. If you could, like, not auto-place, that'd be so cool. I, like, specifically have spots for all the babies ready. Okay. Green. Huh. I liked that the sound traveled from ear to ear. But again, so these two pets that I've won, they're the $40 ones. So, like, if a child is playing this and you don't get the pet you want, you get one of these special pets, you then have to go and convince your parent to pay $40 for you to get essentially a collectible pet that doesn't even have a code for Webkinz Classic. You're paying the same amount of money and it doesn't apply to Webkinz Classic at all. It just applies to Webkinz Next. It doesn't even have a code for that. You already have the pet. Why? What's the point? What's the point if the plushies are just not accessible? So me, an adult, the adult players that have money are the only ones getting these things. And the few kids that are able to convince their parents to give them credit card information, that's awesome for you. Congratulations. Okay, these expire in March. That's great. I can come back for them if I really want them. Cool. Okay, I mean, that covers pretty much everything. That covers all my pet peeves. That covers all the, like, bad UI things. Again, that's all there is to do. You can play games. I showed you all the dailies you can do. They have the season pass. They have the comfy quest right now. They have this event that they reskin for the winter and the summer where you either have to build a snowman or water a flower, and it is one of the most annoying things ever to do. They did add the fashion show recently, so they are adding and improving things. They are listening. Their change in how they're doing the Webkinz plushies is evidence that they are listening. But I'm just worried about what they're trying, like, they don't know, they haven't decided what their target audience is, and they haven't figured out how to pander to what they want their target audience to be. And that's really, really handicapping them. Because, like, if they cannot get a new player base out of these new plushies, they're not going to get a new player base out of this video game, because this video game is not good. There are better free games to play on the internet that aren't this, that are, like, just as interesting. You can play free pet games on, again, Roblox is their biggest competitor. They're competing with Roblox, and Roblox also has merch now that has codes that can unlock things. Like, you gotta step it up. I think the biggest two things that have been coming recently that people have been excited about is, one, they're beta testing Webkinz Classic back in browsers, so you no longer have to download Webkinz Classic to play it. They finally got around the Flash player going down by having a different host, and you have to now download the whole game. They finally figured out how to do it in browser again. It seems like it's working. It's in beta test right now, so you can still play Webkinz in browser again. The other exciting thing that they've been talking about is, I straight up forgot about it. Is it just the fashion show? Am I thinking of fashion show again? They're doing fashion show, which is only 2 days a week and they're at weird times. I'm wondering, so it has a timer in the corner that's Kinz time. I assume that is matches a specific time zone. It matches my time zone, which is really lucky for me, but it also is weird times for my time zone, so the fashion show happens at like 9:30 p.m. or something, which is like, that's a little bit late for perhaps a kid on their computer to be playing a video game on a school night. So I don't know. I just, like, they have a lot of good ideas and they're trying new things and they're adding things to this game that are interesting and fun. They're just doing it very, very slow. And the split between having to focus on the paid content that's making them money and focus on the non-paid content that is just improving the game so people want to play it, like, they don't seem like they've been balancing that well. And it's not fully their problem. Like, Neopets is also having this problem. They've been having to split their time to make apps to make shareholders happy because they're independent now, and they're stuck, like, all of their funding is based on whether people think they're doing a good job. So they have to constantly be putting out these products that nobody cares about, and then really slowly and with not very much time have to be working on these background updates to their actual website to make it better. And so, like, all their projects they're working on just take a million years, and they launched a plot for the first time in years. They launched a new pet for the first time in years, and they've been focusing a lot on the new pet they released, but it took them a while to actually roll out the event where you can get one, and it's really hard to get one. And they're still adding, like, paintbrush colors for it and outfits and stuff, but they're doing a good job doing that, so you actually want the pet. Great. The plot, every time they restart the plot, something breaks so bad that they have to, like, stop doing it for a full year, fix everything, and then go live again. And right now we're in another hiatus where I don't know when it's going to start again. And I really would like to do this thing, and I'm really enjoying doing this one thing on Neopets, and they're not willing to. It's still waiting. They have too many other things they have to do that they don't have time to do this thing that, like, was supposed to be scheduled and done with by now, and now it is just being pushed and pushed and pushed. And so all their timelines are getting fucked, and now they're... And I feel like Webkinz is having a similar problem of, like, we have to convince people that... We have to be convincing enough to the parent company to produce these plushies in the first place. And the plushies might be the only thing bringing people in, but also, like, Webkinz... It's hitting its nostalgia curve right now. I think their hope is that people who played Webkinz have kids now and will be like, oh, let's get you into Webkinz like I used to play, because I know that it's a fun and safe site to be on. Now they have the nostalgia base to actually enjoy, like, get people enjoying things again. Let me take care of this fucking baby. Again, it takes forever to age up the babies. And then when you age up the babies, you just have sparks of species you already have had a baby with. And so I can't make any baby cows at all. And that's really disappointing. I don't know, you should be able to turn off the special promotion pets. It's fun when it happens once. It was so exciting when it happened the first time. And then I rolled a second lion, and it only lets you re-roll if you roll the same special edition pet twice. The fact that we rolled 2 more special edition pets is really insane. That should not have happened. It should not have happened like that. I don't know, I'm just like... They can make changes that makes this better, but I don't know what their priorities are right now and what they're focusing on, and it feels like a lot of the things that could be fixed easily are things that they've already decided are good as they are, and that they're not going to overhaul whatever thing that they've done with it. And they're not going to try to tackle it from another angle. Again, there's no design thinking behind this. They're making choices. They're sometimes listening when we have complaints, but they're not listening enough to, like, fix overarching things that are wrong with it. And that's why Webkinz is not as good as you remember. And this isn't even touching Webkinz Classic, which is a whole other, like, again, everything's paywalled unless you buy a Webkinz pet, either a virtual one or a real one, or pay for premium. So you can't play the games you used to be able to play for free when you just had a Webkinz pet. Now everything's paywalled. And that sucks. Even having a Webkinz pet, I still have my annual Webkinz pet membership from buying a pet, from breakfast probably. And I think maybe they gave you one when you got the 20-year tiger. They gave you membership for free, which is great. And that was a free pet that they did for their anniversary. But again, everything's still paywalled. So, like, even with the base membership and having paid for a plushie pet, I still can't access everything. So why am I spending that money? Especially when there aren't plushies available that are, like, easy to get. Like, I can either buy an overpriced scalped plush online or an old plush that's also overpriced because it's from an old era of Webkinz, or I can drive 2 hours to buy a $25 plush when that's the same quality as the pets that were like 20 originally. Again, even with accounting for inflation, these pets are more expensive than the old ones used to be, which really sucks. Okay, that's my spiel. I'm probably not going to play Webkinz on stream anymore. This was the last finale that I had. We might play Webkinz Classic a little more on stream, just if I feel like it, but there's not really any reason to. Maybe if they have a bunch of new features added, I'll come back and revisit it, and we'll talk about how it's changed and if it's improved at all, but this is maybe it for now. Thank you for the handful of people who were able to stick around for a while. I know the stream has run really long, and I know that there aren't anybody watching right now anymore. Thank you to any VOD watchers who are watching this because they're curious. Sorry, it's also a really long video. I realize I ramble. You can watch this on like two times speed or whatever you need. Yeah, that's all. This has been my project for the week. So, thanks for hanging out while I show you. Yeah, I'm gonna sign off now. Maybe I'm not gonna find someone to raid today. Have a really lovely one, everybody. Have a good weekend. Have a good Webkinz. And yeah, find a better game to play online. Yippee!